2 days passed quickly. When Sasuke opened his eyes again, Mangekyo Sharingan's gaze burst out. Like a real shockwave, it hit the wall of the training ground in an instant. A large wall visible to the naked eye was sunken directly. This is how Sasuke can cause substantial damage just by relying on his pupil power. I am afraid that people who look at Sasuke now will feel a more terrifying sense of oppression. Congratulations to host, Sharingan successfully promoted. Mangekyo Sharingan, 8th stage, finally successfully promoted to the 8th stage. Then now. The second plan will begin. The corners of Sasuke's mouth turned up slightly. Looking at the scroll beside him. At this time, Gurren walked towards Sasuke with something. Master Sasuke, this is what you want. Saying that, Gurren asked Itonin to place a dead body in front of Sasuke. At the same time, Sasuke was given a crystal bottle, which seemed to be soaking in something. Sasuke nodded. Okay, thank you. After speaking, Sasuke looked at the thing in front of him, and opened the sealed book directly. Go straight to Impure World Reincarnation. The last time Orochimaru Impure World Reincarnation had 4th Kazekage and 4th Mizukage fighting themselves. Sasuke suddenly thought of a question. Fighting is indeed the best way to improve the level. Regardless of whether the system will give rewards or not, fighting is the fastest way to break through. And Sasuke's current Sharingan will rely on this technique to break through the last 2 stages. At the same time, these days Sasuke has also developed the ability to control chakra in multiple directions at the same time because of Ultimate's chakra control. While fighting, he is also practicing. Although the speed of practice is only equivalent to about 1/20th of the effect of real practice. But it's not too bad. And now, Sasuke is about to start learning Impure World Reincarnation, using the ninjas of Impure World Reincarnation to help him break through the last 2 stages of Sharingan. At the same time, inside the Akatsuki organization base, Nagato ended the seal of 6 tails, and Konan jumped down and left with Yahiko. Come to Nagato's body. Konan looked at the extremely weak Nagato. It looks like you're still going to meet Uchiha Sasuke? Nagato nodded very positively. It's 1 step away now, although the power of 3 tails is not very good, but without the chakra of 3 tails, it becomes incomplete. In this way, there is no way. The plan is completed. Although what Nagato said is true. But looking at Nagato like this, unfortunately, I feel that Nagato really has a big screen this time. First they invaded Cloud Shinobi Village, and a fierce battle broke out with 4th Raikage, killing hundreds of elite Cloud Shinobi at the same time. At the same time, he also used Shinra Tensei to destroy Cloud Shinobi Village. Under such circumstances, Nagato has already overdrawn a lot of Life 5. And immediately after that, the seal was added. Although the seal did not need to throw life force, it was a seal for several days in a row. Let Nagato, who is already weak, not rest at all. I am afraid that Nagato's body will not be able to hold on if this continues. Even the people of the Uzumaki clan don't squeeze their bodies endlessly like this. A meeting with Uchiha Sasuke, did he agree? Nagato asked again. Konan nodded, but he asked to meet at Itonin village. I'm afraid it will take a day to rush there now, and if you want to even pain. No pain. Just go by myself. Said Nagato looked at Konan, you take me there. Konan froze for a moment, and just took the body with him. Nagato is planning to meet Sasuke in a real sense. Don't worry, if that kid wants to kill me, he won't take advantage of others. With Sasuke's strength, even if he faces 6 Paths Pain head-on, he will not be afraid, and there is no need to fight alone when facing Nagato, who has no power to fight back. So Nagato is very relieved. After Konan hesitated a few times, he nodded in agreement with Nagato's request. Now Obito listened to the final report. I'm afraid Nagato won't last long. The meeting with Uchiha Sasuke this time may be what he hopes to make a deal with Sasuke in exchange for 3 tails. Even Ju said so. Obito also smiled. Although Nagato's death is a bit bad for the current situation, it doesn't matter, and the last 2-tailed beasts are left. The plan is almost finished, whether Nagato actually exists or not. Isn't that important anymore? His only remaining role is to revive Madara. But now Obito doesn't want Madara to be resurrected like this. When Nagato was led by Konan towards Yinin village. On the other side, Konoha is also thinking about it. The only targets of the Akatsuki organization are 1 tail and 9 tails. Naruto's security concerns have been raised to the highest level. Don't worry about it just yet. And today's Naruto is not something anyone can easily take away. The remaining issue is 3 tails. Three Tails is a tail beast belonging to Kirigakure, but after the death of the former 4th Mizukage, Three Tails seems to have escaped from Kirigakure. No one has information on Three Tails until now, Lu Ju said as he rubbed his swollen head. The Akatsuki organization already has too many tailed beasts. If these tailed beasts are controlled, the fighting power of the Akatsuki organization will be unimaginable. If Three Tails can be found and controlled, at least there is no need to worry about Three Tails being acquired by the Akatsuki organization. Speaking of Three Tails, Tsunade thought of Sasuke. But at the moment, Sasuke Tsunade is very helpless. I mistakenly thought that Sasuke killed Jiraiya before. She had already fought against Sasuke, and the Three Tails was on the white-haired kid next to Sasuke. If Sasuke had not been misunderstood before, maybe Sasuke could entrust that person to Konoha temporarily. Mastering the Three Tails Jinchuriki will be more beneficial to the 5 hidden villages against the Shao organization. Thinking of this, Tsunade decided to write a letter to Sasuke, if the Three Tails Jinchuriki could be handed over to Konoha for protection. If Sasuke is besieged by the Akatsuki organization, perhaps they may not be able to capture Sasuke, but it will be bad if they capture Three Tails Jinchuriki. Please send this letter to Yinin village. Tsunade handed a letter to the Anbu ninja beside him. Luju looked at Tsunade with some doubts, and when he was about to leave, he wrote a letter to Itonin village. What was he planning to do with Orochimaru? Although Orochimaru is a rebellious ninja, Orochimaru is likely to be hiding in Itonin village, and Shikajiu also knows it. But what he didn't know was that Jiren village had more than just big snakes. Okay, let's go. Tsunade stood up and looked at Uchiha Itachi, who had been waiting for a long time. The ninja serving as Hokage's guard this time is Itachi. And the other is Naruto. Congratulations to host for mastering ninjutsu, Impure World Reincarnation. Impure World Reincarnation, getting started, Impure World Reincarnation. Sasuke completed the seal and looked up at the corpse in front of him. Suddenly, the ashes fluttered from all directions, and quickly gathered on the opponent's body. Next second, the opponent's body slowly floated up. Wrapped in these ashes, new faces form in the blink of an eye. And this face is a familiar face. This person is none other than Danzo, who died at the hands of Sasuke. At the same time, another corpse slowly revived. And this person is also an old acquaintance. 3rd Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen. The former Konoha Shuangji reunited again. However, the moment the two opened their eyes, the moment they saw Uchiha Sasuke, both of them were stunned. Danzo's memory still stays at the moment when he was killed by Sasuke, and he immediately wanted to back off. But found that the body is out of control. Uchiha Sasuke. This is. What's going on? I wasn't given by you. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was talking aside, brought Danzo back to his senses. Monkey. How can you be here? Hiruzen is already dead. But now he appears here. And Hiruzen gave Sasuke a very surprised look. His soul should have been taken by the Shinigami, and now it's here again. Which means, Impure World Reincarnation. But this time the caster turned out to be Sasuke, which made Nissin a little confused. At the same time, Danzo's voice beside him also surprised Hiruzen. Are you dead too? Danzo. Hearing the words, Impure World Reincarnation, Danzo Yiping also understood what was going on. Uchiha Sasuke, it's you. You revived me with Impure World Reincarnation? Sasuke nodded, that's right. Damn. I didn't expect to be humiliated by someone like you. Hiruzen, see it. This is Uchiha's people. I told you to be stronger. Backquote. Hiruzen. Shut up. Danzo. As he said that, he turned his head and looked at Sasuke. Sasuke. What do you want to do? Don't tell me you're walking up like Orochi. Looking at Hiruzen, who was nervous and worried, Sasuke smiled. Don't worry. I didn't come to let you deal with others. I resurrected you to let you fight me. Said Sasuke smiled. Perhaps Impure World Reincarnation is the correct way to use it, so that the ancestors can continue to pass on the fighting skills and knowledge to the younger generation. Hearing this, Danzo was dumbfounded, and Hitomi was also stunned. Sasuke Impure World Reincarnation himself, just to fight with himself? This reassures Sarutobi a lot. At least it shows that Sasuke has not embarked on a dark path as he imagined. However, in the next second, Sasuke put a spell to strengthen control in the bodies of the two. Then the body control of the two was released. The only requirement of the spell just now was that they could not leave the training ground. The rest of them can act at will according to their own will. Danzo distanced himself immediately. Sasuke glanced at him. Why don't you want revenge? Hearing this, Danzo's eyes suddenly became cold. Hiruzen was confused. Sasuke, did you kill Danzo? He organized Konoha's ninja rebellion. 5th Hokage Tsunade-sama, let me go after Danzo. Hearing this, Hiruzen quickly turned his head. Danzo, I didn't expect you to be such a person. Danzo almost vomited blood when he heard this. Sasuke didn't say a word about the fact that he stole the sealed book and defected to Konoha. Just say that he rebelled, and he is obviously the 5th Hokage. Tsunade came back and refused to recognize his Hokage status. Obviously the person who rebelled should be Tsunade, but Sarutobi indiscriminately. Sarutobi. You bastard. Speaking of which, Hiruzen wanted to teach Danzo a lesson. Sasuke quickly said, 3rd generation, don't be angry, he is already dead. He has paid the price he should pay. Now your focus should be to help me practice. In this way, Hiruzen also agrees. But Hiruzen is saddened by the rebellion of his former friends. But Sasuke won't give him time to grieve. Open Mangekyo Sharingan directly. Susanoo appeared instantly and slashed at Hiruzen with a knife. Hiruzen jumped away on instinct. Looking at Sasuke who has activated Mangekyo, Hiruzen was very surprised. Sasuke, have you awakened Mangekyo? Sasuke smiled. Ah. Thanks to Danzo, if it wasn't for him, my Mangekyo wouldn't be on either. What are the conditions for opening Mangekyo? Hiruzen is clear. If it was because of Danzo, wouldn't it mean that someone Sasuke cared about was killed by Danzo? How much disaster this guy has brought to the village. If I had known earlier, I would not have let Danzo call. Noticing Hiruzen's resentful gaze, Danzo was so angry now, he knew that Hiruzen would not believe what he said now. Damn Uchiha Sasuke, even if he is dead, he still pours dirty water on himself, this hateful guy. Bastard. I'm going to kill you today, right after Impure World reincarnation, old man. Let you die too. The war is imminent. And this time Sasuke chose to use only the Mangekyo Sharingan, pupil technique in Susanoo. Amaterasu flame burst, flame control. The black flames burned the two of them, but they hesitated to Impure World reincarnation's body, and the two of them would only feel pain. The body can recover in a blink of an eye, as the battle begins. Sasuke can clearly feel that Sharingan's progress has accelerated a lot. It's even faster than the original, when he was practicing. Sure enough, fighting is the fastest way to improve. Nagato, who is heading towards Yinin village at the moment, is about to arrive. After the two arrived at Yinin village, they went to a certain forest. Konan used Shiki paper technique to find a temporary shelter for Nagato. Then used the wide origami crane to pass the location to Orochimaru's base. At this moment, Sasuke, who has been fighting fiercely all day, has also pushed his pupil power to the limit many times. However, every time the limit is reached, the pupil power will increase rapidly. This made Sasuke feel as if he had the physique of a Super Saiyan. The more extreme the state is, the more it can explode. And it is getting closer and closer to breaking through the 9th level Duan Yi. And at this time, I saw 1,000 paper cranes flying over. Sasuke raised his black stick and shot out instantly, controlling Hiruzen and Danzo instantly. The unsuspecting two were pinned directly to the wall. Sasuke opened the paper crane and glanced at the information on it. It's finally here. Really, it's okay to see me at this time. What happened to Itachi last time? Let's forget about the favors owed this time. Saying that, Sasuke directly lifted the Impure World reincarnation of the two, and the body flicker technique disappeared directly. Outside Yinren village, in the forest. Konan stood outside the woods, looking around. Now the only person here who can keep Nagato safe is her. If any enemies suddenly appeared, once there was any situation, it would be difficult to handle. Just trying to find a way to carry Nagato was already a struggle for Konan. If you deal with the enemy again, you simply don't have the energy. However, at this moment Sasuke appeared in front of Konan without making a sound. For a moment, the wind blowing head-on swayed Konan's hair, and then Sasuke's face appeared in Konan's eyes. The sudden appearance of Sasuke made Konan back again and again. Let's go. Sasuke was very calm, but Konan reacted. Feeling an inexplicable heartbeat. At this time Sasuke has already moved towards Nagato's position in the forest. Konan didn't have time to think too much, he directly raised his body and chased after Sasuke. Go inside the big tree that Konan disguised with paper. This is the first time Sasuke saw Nagato, although he also sensed Nagato's chakra before. But never saw it with my own eyes. When he saw the moment of Nagato with his own eyes, Sasuke felt that the situation reflected in the animation was compared with reality. The visual impact is completely different. Nagato in front of him was panting very hard, and at the same time, his breathing was short, and he couldn't breathe normally at all. What? Seeing me? I'm surprised. Hearing this, Sasuke closed his eyes and nodded slightly. Konan walked in at this time. Nagato gave her a look. Don't worry. Let me talk to him alone. Hearing this, Konan just looked at Nagato. Careful, something is wrong. Call me immediately. Then slowly back out, leaving space for the two of them. Tell me something. I promised to meet you this time, which is equivalent to repaying your favor for letting Uchiha Itachi go. As Sasuke was in a hurry to go back to practice Sharingan, he spoke very fast. And Nagato looked at Sasuke, who seemed to be in a hurry, and smiled lightly. I want 3 tails. Hearing this, Sasuke frowned, and then, that white-haired kid is 3 tails Jinchuriki. It seems that you still found it. It wasn't enough to surprise Sasuke. Found it, no big deal. But the problem is, Nagato actually wants to let himself hand over Kimimaro. Impossible. Even if it is due to Itachi's incident, it is absolutely impossible to exchange Kimimaro. I knew you would give such an answer. Nagato didn't seem angry. Sasuke was puzzled. Since you know my answer, why do you still ask? Try it in general, you have seen my physical condition. Nagato didn't seem to be surprised when he said that. Sasuke didn't show any surprise when he saw him in person. Sasuke nodded. No accident, you were dying. Hearing this, Nagato smiled. I know. So I hope that if I don't complete the plan, I hope you will take over Xiao's plan. What? Did this guy actually think so? There is no problem with the brain. Why does this guy think he will take over the Akatsuki organization? Just kidding. Is it necessary for me to take over this thing? Sasuke, I know that your goal should only be to become stronger. I don't expect you to be able to complete Akatsuki's plan according to my idea. But only you can stop another guy from completing an even crazier plan. Nagato apparently said Uchiha Madara, and Madara's infinite Tsukuyomi plan. Being able to take the initiative to say this to himself, it seems that Nagato really put his last hope on himself. Sasuke smiled. And Sasuke's reaction at this moment also makes Nagato feel very incomprehensible. It stands to reason that Sasuke should ask himself, who is the other guy, and what is the crazier plan? But Sasuke didn't ask anything, even from Sasuke's smile. Nagato senses an uncanny thing, as if Sasuke knows it all. But why would he know? How could he know such a thing? It doesn't make sense at all. Sasuke thought carefully. Nagato's current situation may also be forced to help. From the very beginning, when agreeing with Obito or Madara's plan, he is the most desperate time because of Yahiko's death. And now, Nagato's experience is no longer what it was at that time. So, it's normal for him to have new ideas. Maybe he's unwilling, maybe he wants to try. So it has always been in accordance with the original plan. But as his body became unsupported, he naturally needed to think of other ways. And now Nagato has no strength to support, so he wants to give everything to himself. After all, compared with Obito or Madara, I can at most hope to become stronger. Will not harm the world, let alone do crazy things. It is the best result. But Sasuke doesn't intend to accept this mess, and at the same time Sasuke now understands one thing. Nagato's mind has changed. If Nagato does not die, what will happen to the final development? Will the fourth ninja war break out? What is the real plan in Nagato's mind? To destroy the world, or use the threat of tail beasts to create a peaceful ninja world? It was quite interesting. Sasuke looked up at Nagato. Do you know about that guy, and his crazy plans? Facing this problem with Nagato, Sasuke didn't intend to answer, but stepped forward directly. I owed you a favor last time, so I will pay you back this time. But it's not taking over the Xiao organization. It's a waste of time. I have a better way to get you a new life than this. You can complete your plan by yourself. Said Sasuke walked directly towards Nagato. And at this moment, Nagato was a little puzzled, completely unable to understand what Sasuke wanted to do. Sasuke came to Nagato and looked at Nagato's equipment. It's too much of a hindrance. Let me dismantle it for you. As he said that, he directly pulled out all these things from Nagato's body, and when the sound of Sasuke removing these things sounded, Nagato's screams also sounded. Konan rushed in immediately. Uchiha Sasuke, what are you guys doing to Nagato? As he spoke, he planned to attack Sasuke directly. But in the next second, Sasuke raised his hand and a strange energy surged out. Nagato's face also turned rosy at a speed visible to the naked eye. The breath also gradually became thicker and thicker. Even under Konan's amazed eyes, Nagato stood up bit by bit. Seeing Nagato's changes, Konan's eyes were full of shock. What did you do to Nagato? Sasuke smiled. Yin-yang escape, creation technique. Nagato felt the strength in his body had never felt so light in all his life. At this moment, Nagato's gaze toward Sasuke changed. How did you do it? Hearing this, Sasuke just smiled, raised his hand and threw a piece of Akatsuki's clothes over. Now Nagato is not wearing clothes. Nagato was even more surprised after quickly putting on his clothes. Because he saw that Sasuke actually created a piece of clothing? This kind of thing. Sasuke is able to do it. Are you surprised? The use of yin-yang done, that's all. Said Sasuke turned around and waved his hand. Okay. Now it's over, what you want to do is your own freedom. After speaking, Sasuke left directly. Feeling the disappearance of Sasuke's breath, Nagato is still feeling his own body. This feeling is simply amazing. The arms became powerful again, and at the same time, the vitality in the body seemed to be replenished. Back to peak condition. Nagato was even more surprised by the use of yin-yang done mentioned by Sasuke just now. As someone who owns Rinnegan, yin-yang done is no stranger to yin-yang done. However, I didn't expect Sasuke to be able to use yin-yang done freely. Not even he can do that with Rinnegan. Is this guy's talent really terrifying to such a degree? Nagato. Now you recovered? Konan asked. Nagato nodded. Good. Not just recovering, but actually getting better. Let his body recover to its peak in all aspects, and now Nagato feels that if he can control 6 paths pain again, can explode more terrifying power. However, the black rod received by chakra was removed. 6 paths pain is uncontrollable, so a chakra launching device needs to be crafted. But that's no longer a big deal for Nagato, completely in time. Konan. Don't let Obito find out about my situation. Saying that, Nagato looked back at the dismantled device. Gotta find a way to fix this thing. At the same time, Sasuke, who returned to Atonin village, thought about Nagato's change. A Nagato with peak strength, controlling 6 paths pain, will probably become even more terrifying. Not to mention anything else, I am afraid that in terms of strength alone, it will directly increase a level. Nagato might be able to unleash several attacks in succession in one breath, similar to the attack of Chaoshanluo Tianzheng. That's what Nagato at his peak can achieve. And the leader of the Shao organization like this is the last one. 5 cages talk. I wonder if Nagato will go to see it then. Maybe. Or maybe not. On the contrary, Sasuke of Yinin village has not had time to continue to practice with impure world reincarnation. Orochimaru found Sasuke. A letter from Tsunade to you. Hearing this, Sasuke frowned. Condolences. After taking it apart and taking a look, Sasuke's complexion suddenly became uneasy. Although the content of the letter was very euphemistic, Tsunade made it clear. Tailed beast. Even if 3 Tails Sasuke does not allow Konoha to protect it, she will announce the information when the 5 cages talk. I'm afraid the 5 cages will force him to hand over 3 Tails by then. After all, it concerns the entire ninja world. As the only tailed beast that was not captured by Akatsuki, it is impossible for the 5 major ninja villages to be controlled by Sasuke. It must be caught in the hand, and Kirigakure probably won't allow the tail beast in his village to wander outside. After all, there is no guarantee that other villages will not take the opportunity to snatch 3 tails. Tsunade is kind, but her kindness makes Sasuke a little bit. Rob? Just rely on you? Big 5? 5 ninja villages? It seems that the 5 cages will talk, and I have to join in the fun. And Sasuke admired Konoha a little, and took Naruto with him as Hokage's guard. This is a very bold decision. But yes, leaving it in the village is the most dangerous. With Gokage and the guards of each village with him, Naruto's safety can be better guaranteed. The lightning burst out in Sasuke's hand, directly destroying the letter in an instant. He turned and walked towards the training room. There are still more than 2 days before the 5 shadow talks officially start. During this time, Sasuke has to raise the Sharingan to the 10th stage and activate Rinnegan. Sasuke can rest assured only when he activates Rinnegan and faces the 5 cages. At the same time, after opening Rinnegan, then Naruto's Ashura Chakra is short. This time is just right. Naruto's Ashura Chakra will be completely resolved. Since there are still more than 2 days left, we still have to rush to the Land of Iron, and the pressure from Hiruzen and Danzo is not enough. You'll need stronger ninjas from Impure World Reincarnation. Sasuke slowly closed his eyes. It seems that the only way is to invite the 2 brothers to practice. Sasuke-kun. You really think it through? With your strength, Impure World Reincarnation and Impure World Reincarnation's strength will probably be infinitely close to the true peak state. I'm afraid it will be difficult to control at that time. Orochimaru looked at Sasuke in front of him and persuaded. However, Sasuke has already decided that it is impossible to change. I'm in a hurry, so. There's no way. In a hurry? What time do you do? Orochimaru didn't quite understand. But at this moment, Tsunade and Naruto and Itachi in disguise are rushing towards the Iron Kingdom. 5 cages talk. What will the future of the ninja world be like? Tsunade couldn't help thinking about this moment. This time, the 5 shadows will meet with the Akatsuki organization, a terrorist organization that has captured the 7-tailed beasts. If the 5 major powers don't join forces, they probably won't be able to deal with it. And at this moment, Tsunade suddenly looked in the direction of Itonen village. At this moment, she seemed to feel some familiar breath. This feeling is very subtle. It seems to have passed by in a flash, it seems to have appeared and it seems not to exist. Exactly what Tsunade is also not clear. At the same time, Iwagakure 3rd Tsuchikage Onogi also set off with black soil and terracotta. 5 cages talk. I'm afraid the commotion will not be small this time. Onoki said. Black soil, of course, the shadows of the 5 major countries are gathered, and the attention of the entire ninja world is now focused here. Makes sense. Onogi smiled, thinking of Raikage in Cloud Shinobi Village. I'm afraid Raikage won't be in a good mood now. The always irascible Raikage might do the unexpected. Cloud Shinobi Village 4th Raikage. Now, as Onoki expected, he is in a very bad mood. Are you ready? Darui looked at 4th Raikage and nodded silently. Then let them set off in secret. If the 5 shadows meeting this time cannot satisfy the old man, then let everyone else die for the old man. Boom. Boom. Boom buzz. In the Orochimaru base, the sound of fierce battle came, and the 4 Itonen who watched the battle outside the training ground swallowed silently. Kitamaru. To be able to fight these 2 to such an extent, Sasuke-sama is indeed a complete monster. And Deyu on the side also nodded, and raised his hand to wipe the cold sweat on his forehead. It's really scary. In such a fierce battle, Master Sasuke still can't keep suppressing. The opponent is the body of Impure World Reincarnation, possesses infinite chakra, is tireless, and can recover infinitely from injuries. In this case, they are simply 2 infinite killing machines, but Master Sasuke can still. Bang bang bang. Suddenly a figure flew straight upside down and hit the wall fiercely. Then an astonishing roar erupted, and dense cobwebs spread out from the wall. Seeing that the help was spread all over the wall, stones of different sizes fell down. When the entire training ground seemed to be crumbling, Sasuke's voice sounded, Earth-style, Earth flow wall. While defending against the attacking Sasuke, he unleashes Earth-style ninjutsu by Knuckles. In the next second, there were a series of dirt walls around the wall. It directly replaced the original training ground wall, making this underground space much stronger. And the 4 Itonen who saw this scene felt extremely terrified. During the battle, the training ground can also be reinforced by the way. This. Uchiha boy, you can even Earth style, it's very good and you can release it with one-handed mudra. Ha ha ha. What a surprise. The 4 looked at the existence who laughed out loud. It's this time and you're still smiling so happily, what do you think? And what's so funny about that? However, in the next second, the huge vine man entangled towards Sasuke. Susanoo swung the blade directly and cut it open with a single stroke. Instantly cut off the opponent's wood-style vine man. At the same time, there was the sound of running water behind him. Water-style, water-severing wave. Susanoo raised her hand and gathered huge energy on her arm, using the wall of her hand as a shield to resist the impact of water-style. Sasuke's pair of Mangekyo Sharingan, Hitomi is almost depleted now. However, the next second, Congratulations to host, Sharingan for promotion. Mangekyo Sharingan, 9th stage. In an instant, the powerful pupil power exploded again, and rushed towards him with fists waving. First Hokage Senju Hashirama. Beep. It was directly knocked away by the instantaneous burst of pupil force. It hit hard on the earthflow wall that Sasuke released just now. This time, it even directly cracked the earthflow wall. Looking up, Senju Hashirama looked at Sasuke in surprise. Sasuke didn't do anything just now, and chakra didn't explode either. But suddenly an inexplicable shockwave erupted, directly knocking him into the air. How did this kid do it? And now, Sasuke felt the new power of those eyes. All-round enhancements, insight, pupil power, and even Sasuke's control over the body chakra seemed to have broken through another level. Entered an extremely incredible situation. Raising the hand, the chakra threads flowed from Sasuke's hand, like long thin threads, hundreds or even thousands in number. Such a meticulous control of the chakra in the body, this feeling, is simply too strong. What Sasuke is looking forward to more is the Sharingan in the dry stage. There is still more than a day until the 5 shadow talks will start. Sharingan in the 10th stage doesn't know what kind of changes it will bring to him. Thinking of this, Sasuke also became extremely excited, and it was the last step. Then, Master Hokage, there is still the last step, you two have to work hard. Hearing this, Senju Hashirama jumped off the wall and clapped his hands. Boy, have you made a breakthrough? Sasuke nodded. Behind Tobirama's face is very gloomy. Does Uchiha's Sharingan still have this ability? Why have I never seen it? You two. Now is not the time to discuss this. Are you really the famous Kaisho clan? Until now, you two haven't met me. Sasuke's aggressive method made the faces of both of them change. But this kind of imminence between the two of them is also very clear, but when it is clear, they still can't help but feel angry. Thinking of this, the two didn't talk too much, and started to do it directly. This time second Hokage casts Flying Thunder God technique, and Senju Hashirama also activates Sage Mode. For the two of them finally willing to take it seriously. Sasuke also smiled. Boom buzz. More intense vibrations came from the base. And Orochimaru, who was in the laboratory at this time, looked at the dust falling in front of him, and had no time to calm down and study. This movement was indeed too loud. Gently shaking his head, Orochimaru looked at his several experimental samples, and suddenly the eyes of the sky snake shrank slightly. Then he turned around and left the laboratory, and came to another room. Sure enough. Isn't there anymore? Orochimaru smiled, showing an even more excited smile. It's even more fun. More than a day passed quickly. This moment. Iron Country. Hokage wasn't the first to arrive. It's the movie that came from Cloud Shinobi Village, and the two guards of the movie, the removal of Jonin and Ruiyi and the cloud removal of Jonin's all-round ninja Nozomi. So the old man arrived first. As fourth Raikage said, Mifune, who was walking towards him, nodded his head towards Raikage. I've been waiting for a long time. Lord Raikage, please invite first. The other shadows are coming soon. HMPH. These guys don't seem to be in a hurry at all. Hearing that Mifune is also helpless, there is nothing to worry about other shadows. Hokage Tsunade, Kazekage Gaara, Tsuchikage Onoki, Mizukage Terumi Mei. They are also rapidly entering the territory of the Iron Country. And at this moment in the Orochimaru base, Sasuke looked at the two first generation and second generation nailed to the wall by himself. Flying Thunder God technique, Shaochung, Wood Style, Wood Clone, Ultimate Up Pointing Arrow, Wooden Dragon technique, Dachung, Wooden Golem Jutsu, Dachung, World Tree Descending, Dachung, Wood Expulsion Jutsu, Shaochung, Laughing Buddha Jutsu, Shaochung. Water Style. Water Barrier, Ultimate Up Pointing Arrow, Water Dragon Bomb, Dachung, Water Severing Wave, Dachung Up Pointing Arrow, Water Severing Wave, Dachung Up Pointing Arrow, Heavenly Cry, Ultimate Up Pointing Arrow, Wave Riding, Ultimate Up Pointing Arrow. Looking at his improved ninjutsu, as well as the Flying Thunder God technique of the newly copied society, they have even directly improved to the point of Shaochung. Sasuke looked at the first generation and second generation in front of him. Thank you two adults. If it weren't for you, my progress wouldn't be so fast. Goodbye, two adults, maybe there will be a chance to meet again. The figures of Hashirama and Tobirama gradually reduced to ashes, although they still wanted to say something. But Sasuke has turned his head away. Congratulations to host, Sharingan for promotion. Mangekyo Sharingan, first stage. Sasuke raised his head and exhaled slowly. Finally. Done. Reaching the 10th stage is indeed not as simple as imagined. It was not so easy for more than a day, facing the crazy attack of the two Senju brothers. Flying Thunder Gods Tobirama and Sage Modes Hashirama, the two really performed a wave of top ninja fighting rhythms in front of Sasuke. It can be said that in addition to harvesting the Sharingan promotion, there are also various ninjutsu upgrades. The most important thing is the accumulation of combat experience. Sasuke benefited a lot from the game with top ninjas. Now all Sasuke has to do is promote Sharingan to Rinnegan. Waiting for this moment Sasuke has been waiting for a long time. Sharingan in the 10th stage, once promoted to the level of Rinnegan, the pupil technique obtained will also become much stronger. Thinking of this, the corners of Sasuke's mouth raised involuntarily. May I ask if the host is integrated into Indra Chakra, Advanced Mangekyo Sharingan? Whether facing the system's inquiry, Sasuke had a smile on his face. Yes. Sasuke has been waiting for this moment for an unknown amount of time, and now perhaps the 5 cage talks have already begun. Time is running out. Sasuke must complete the Sharingan advancement as soon as possible. With Sasuke's determined moment, it was as if a certain chakra hidden in the body burst out suddenly. And along the meridians in the body, it rushed crazily into Sasuke's eyes. While one Rinnegan is about to be opened, Indra Chakra targets both eyes. Both eyes felt a severe burning sensation, which Sasuke could bear at first. But as the strength continued to increase, Sasuke clearly felt the pain getting more and more distant. He clenched his teeth hard and clenched his hands into fists. Sasuke frowned. Why didn't I hear that opening Rinnegan would hurt so much in the original book? Looking at Sasuke's original appearance, it seems to be very easy to open. In the original book, Sasuke opened Rinnegan not only because of Indra Chakra, but also because of the power of 6 paths. The power of 6 paths helps awakening, isn't that quite simple? And Sasuke hasn't acquired the power of 6 paths yet. With the integration of Indra Chakra, Sasuke's eyes seem to have been torn apart countless times, then fused, and then torn and fused again. Such pain made Sasuke almost unbearable. Finally opened his mouth and howled. However, the next second, Sasuke's voice echoed throughout the base. Orochimaru, who was in the laboratory, also hurried out the door, flying directly towards the direction of the training ground. The collapsed earth flow wall revealed the entrance to the training ground. Orochimaru, Kimimaro, Chongo, Suigetsu, Xiangling and others arrived one after another. Sasuke-kun, what's wrong? Orochimaru asked the 4 Itonin who had been watching here. The 4 of them shook their heads in a daze. I don't know, Lord Sasuke. Suddenly he knelt on the ground, howling in pain. The chakra fluctuations on him are very strong, we can't get close, and we can't figure out what happened to Master Sasuke. Hearing this, Orochimaru frowned. But at this moment Chongwu said, it should be fine, Mr. Sasuke's aura is still strong, even getting stronger. Hearing this, Orochimaru was stunned for a moment, and, did you break through something? At this time, Kimimaro heard the voice of 3 tails in his body. This feeling is Sage of 6 Paths. Impossible. Why does this guy have an aura similar to Sage of 6 Paths? What's wrong with this kid? Similar to the breath of Sage of 6 Paths, Kimimaro is not quite able to understand this statement. But when you think of 6 paths, it shouldn't be such a bad thing. And at this time, a powerful wave broke out from Sasuke's body. The shock wave that swept over in an instant almost caused Orochimaru and others to be blown away. If it wasn't for Kimimaro's sudden attack, Dead Bone Pulse instantly formed a bone wall to block the front. I'm afraid they would all be rushed away. Orochimaru looked at Kimimaro who reacted so quickly. Feeling the aura on Kimimaro's body, if you don't feel it, you don't know it, Kimimaro seems to have become a lot stronger. And the breath on his body obviously doesn't belong to Kimimaro, it belongs to Tailed Beast. It seems that what Sasuke said to Kimimaro earlier made Kimimaro even stronger. Thinking of this, a smile appeared on Orochimaru's face. At the same time, Shigego on the side gave Orochimaru a different feeling. The breath is also long and incomparably thick, just like a monster. It seems like both of these guys are getting some sort of breakthrough. And it's all because of Sasuke. Before Sasuke started practicing, he said something to the 2, and then there was such a change in the 2. Sky. It's only 7 days. What kind of practice did the two of them do? They have become stronger now. Even Orochimaru felt that the two were not weaker than him. When Orochimaru was surprised, Shigego suddenly said, "Master Sasuke is awake." Turning their heads, everyone went in Sasuke's direction. Sasuke, who suddenly floated up out of thin air, hangs quietly in the air. And at the same time, Sasuke's tightly closed eyes also opened suddenly. Then a bright light suddenly rushed out. Bang bang. The wall directly in front of Sasuke was directly smashed into a huge pothole. At the same time, Sasuke's eyes burst into an extremely intense light. The light is shining, and the fluctuations emanating from Sasuke's whole body are extremely weird. It makes people feel as if they are suddenly being suppressed by a mountain. This feeling. What is going on? At this moment, Sasuke looked at the interface of the system. Congratulations to host for successfully completing Sharingan Advanced. Reincarnation Sharingan Open, 3-hook Jade State. Reincarnation Sharingan Pupil Technique. 6 paths, Heaven, Human, Ghost, Animal, Cultivation, Earth, Heavenly Hand Power, Awakened. Reincarnation Sharingan Coercion, Awakened. Reincarnation Sharingan Coercion, with Mental Shock. Due to host awakening Reincarnation Sharingan, Mangekyo Sharingan Pupil Technique Enhanced. Looking at the system display, a smile appeared on Sasuke's face. It's finally on. But, why is it only the 3 gauge Jade Reincarnation Sharingan? Isn't the original commander helping to open the 6-gauge Jade Reincarnation Sharingan? What on earth is it? Sasuke was a little puzzled, but now is not the time to think about it. Now, I have to go to the Iron Country. Iron Country. The leader, Mifune, led the samurai and had already built a temporary venue for the 5 cage talks. And the samurai served as guards for the meeting. And with the first movie to arrive, after entering the meeting room. The second to arrive was Kazekage Gaara. Arrival of 5th Kazekage Gaara as Kazekage of Sanagakure, the farthest land of winds. It surprised Mifune, but he would not despise Gaara just because of his age. Mifune is very clear about the powerful chakra fluctuations felt by the opponent. Regardless of his young age, the Kazekage in front of him may be comparable to Sanagakure's strongest 3rd Kazekage. It's just that there is no impressive record now, and Gaara's age makes it easy for Gaara to be underestimated by other villages. But this Kazekage-sama is not weak. Master 5th Kazekage, please come in. Gaara nodded silently and walked towards the meeting room. And Temari and Kankuro, who followed behind, have also grown a lot taller. Kankuro inherited the puppet art, and now his strength is astonishing. After Chiyo's mother-in-law died, 10 people from Chimatsu passed it on to him. Now Kankuro can manipulate 6 puppets at the same time. Puppetry is already strong. And Temari's strength has also improved a lot. Although he is very young, his momentum is not weak. With Gaara arriving second, Tsunade followed. Didn't you expect someone to be earlier than us? Tsunade smiled, and Itachi and Naruto, who were wearing masks, did not speak, and tried to restrain their breath. But even so, for Rifune, he can clearly feel how terrifying these 2 ninjas standing behind the fire are. Not to mention that this Hokage has long been famous in the ninja world, is one of the famous Sannin, and is also the princess of the ninja world civilization. Tsunadeheim. Even with the 2 guards behind him who are comparable to cage-level strength, Ba can already see the terrifying background of Konoha village. As expected of Konoha. Master Hokage, it's not too late, you arrived on time. Mifune responded lightly. Tsunade didn't continue talking, and walked slowly towards the inside. But before entering the venue, I felt a strong chakra impact. Apparently the guy in there seemed to have a bad opinion of her. However, 3rd Tsuchikage Onogi followed closely behind with black earth and red earth. I'm not the last one. Although my legs and feet are not flexible as I get older, but fortunately I am not late. One sentence weakened the momentum from Raikage a bit. Onogi glanced at Tsunade. The former little girl is now Konoha's Hokage. The ninja world. Is it really the world of newbies already? There was originally a 3rd Hokage, but now Tsuchikage is the last remnant of the old era. Hokage and Tsuchikage enter. In the end, Terumi Mei, who came belatedly, appeared slowly. This time, Terumi Mei felt that the meeting was not very solid. So it's not that urgent. The Mizukage guards she brings are Shiro and Chojuro. The reason why Ching was not brought with him was to let Ching stabilize the situation in the village. After all, she just came to power. It is no different from the period of the 5 shadow talks in the original book, Mizukage has already secured the throne. Arrived with the last Mizukage, the 3 boats ordered the warriors to blockade them for 4 weeks, and officially closed the meeting place, and no one was allowed to enter or leave. At the same time, I also entered. As Mifune who presided over this meeting, I will not favor any side, just like being the host. In the room, Mifune respectfully bowed to Gokage slowly, then raised his head and said, "The 5 cages talks have officially started. Everyone, I hope you can carefully consider what you said. I hope you can continue to maintain peace in the ninja world." After speaking, he also sat down, but as soon as he sat down, he heard the sound of patting the table. Hokage. A thunderous roar sounded. Mifune shook his head helplessly. He knew from the beginning that there was a high probability that this situation would happen. But there is no way. As long as you don't move your hands, everything is easy to talk about. And at this moment in the Shao organization base, Nagato has donned the new device, controlling 6 Paths Pain's new device. And at the moment on the bed, 6 Paths Pain in front of him opened his eyes at the same time, and the thick chakra fluctuations on his body suddenly erupted. Even Conan, who was prepared for it, was completely stunned. I have never felt such an amazing momentum fluctuation of Nagato. Even at the moment when Nagato was the strongest, 6 Paths Pain was far from the same momentum. Looking at Nagato, who is ecstatic now. "Nagato, you might actually be able to do that right now." Nagato nodded when he heard Conan's words, "Indeed. However, Uchiha Sasuke, who is able to master this level of yin and yang escape, is indeed a terrifying person. Even scarier than that man. So have you really thought about it next?" Conan asked. Nagato nodded. "Think about it. 3 tails can be irrelevant, but 9 tails can't. The chakra of 9 tails is essential. Without the chakra of 9 tails, it is obviously impossible to succeed. So the 9 tails had to be captured, and now 9 tails Jinchuriki is attending the 5 cage talks. Compared to capturing 9 tails in places like Konoha, it is the same to capture 9 tails now. If the 5 cages reached some kind of agreement, it would not be a good idea to jointly fight against the Akatsuki organization. Capture 9 tails, and break the 5 shadow talks by the way. That's what Nagato plans to do next, and at this time, Obito appears. "Nagato, we may have a new member." "New member?" At this time, just as Nagato was about to speak, another person appeared in front of Nagato along with Uzumaki the next second. A man in a robe appears. "Master Pain. I, called Yakushi Kabuto, I think you will be very interested in my power." A familiar feeling emanated from Do's body. And at this time Nagato frowned. Obito actually brought this person directly to meet his own body. Why did this guy do this? However, when a coffin appeared in front of Nagato in the next second, Nagato's eyes slowly expanded. This moment. In the Orochimaru base, Orochimaru looks at the samples that are missing from his lab. Sure enough. You were unwilling to be lonely, Do. You just finished the experiment. Did you leave? It's too impatient, but it's okay. Let's see what your experimental product will do. Turning back, Orochimaru looked out the door, and Sasuke's voice came. Now Sasuke is preparing to set off, heading to the Iron Country, and he will also take Junmakushi and Shiga with him. Hokage. Aren't you Konoha's always taking care of your own ninjas? Konoha's rebellious ninja, Uchiha Sasuke, you still don't plan to give us an explanation. Raikage's veins burst, and he looked directly at the hand. The talks have only just begun, and it seems that they plan to do it directly. Mizukage, Tsuchikage, and Kazekage were stunned for a moment. If the talks continue at this pace, then needless to say, the talks will definitely directly lead to a ninja world war. Everyone looked at Tsunade. After all, there was indeed Konoha's problem with that matter. Betrayal one after another. First it was Uchiha Itachi, but fortunately Uchiha Itachi didn't do anything to other villages in the 5 major countries, and it was Orochimaru again. Orochimaru also engages in human experimentation. Although it is not tolerated, it does not matter if it does not involve the interests of other villages. But Sasuke is different. Not only invaded Cloud Shinobi village, severely wounded Raikage and cut off an arm of the opponent, and 8 Tails was wounded. 10 large groups of elite Cloud Shinobi were also fired. Meanwhile, Sanagakure's Kazekage was almost killed by Sasuke. To be precise, it has already died once, if it wasn't for the forbidden technique developed by Sanagakure's Chiyo to resurrect Gaara. I'm afraid the current Kazekage will be replaced by someone else. Although Gaara can also make trouble in this matter, Gaara always believes that the enemy is Sasuke, not Tsunade. So silently watching Tsunade, waiting for Tsunade's answer. Reikage. The first sentence Tsunade's tone is still very peaceful. But this made the other shadows a little surprised. Is Konoha planning to show weakness? Although it is in the form of showing weakness to ensure the peace of the ninja world, to ensure that this goal can continue. But if this is the case, it will be necessary to target Konoha later. Don't think. You, Cloud Shinobi, are the only ones who die. Tsunade turned his head directly and his momentum became extremely tough in an instant. Jiraiya, one of the Sannin in our village, also sacrificed for spying on the Akatsuki organization. Can't you see these? Such a strong feeling caused Reikage's aura to pause for a while, but Ying's anger was still strong. However, if the intensity is strong, he will not explode out of nowhere. Instead, he looked at Tsunade. That's your Konoha's business. Besides, shouldn't you Konoha be responsible for it? Very well. In other words, the information Jiraiya got about the Akatsuki organization has nothing to do with you, so please leave the movie master temporarily. The next thing I'm going to say is Jiraiya, life for life intelligence. Since Reikage thinks this is Konoha's business, please leave. Please leave Reikage directly. Terumi Mei looked at Tsunade in surprise. As 5 shadows and women, Terumi Mei really has some admiration for Tsunade now. Under such circumstances, he dared to use this method to force Reikage to surrender. As expected of the Tsunade princess of the ninja world. Onogi glanced at Reikage who seemed to have nothing to say. Okay, Mr. Reikage, sit down first. We know the loss of your village, but everyone here, that village has not suffered any loss. Reikage turned to look at him. What losses have you Iwagakure suffered? Hearing this, Onogi sneered. Do you think that you are the only one who has fought against Uchiha Sasuke? Hearing this, Reikage was stunned. Could it be that Onogi also? But I have never heard of Sasuke invading Iwagakure. If you want to know, the old man will talk about it later. And now the old man wants to hear Master Hokage's information about the Akatsuki organization. Since Sannin Jiraiya of Konoha bought this information at the price of his life, please listen carefully. Sannin Jiraiya is a respectable ninja. After giving the steps, the movie didn't say much, just sat down silently. Seeing this, Tsunade got up directly. Then I'll start talking about the information Jiraiya obtained when he sneaked into the base of the Akatsuki organization. There are 2 important points in this information. The first is the ability of the leader of the Akatsuki organization, and they have the Rinnegan. This kind of eyes that only existed in legends, only possessed by Sage of 6 Paths, was possessed by the leader of Akatsuki organization. Of course, Reikage already knew this information. But he didn't interrupt, and Tsunade also explained about Pain's various abilities, which Reikage didn't pay much attention to at the time. The second is the purpose of the Akatsuki organization, to collect tailed beasts, to deter various countries with the power of tailed beasts, and to create peace in the ninja world in this extreme way. It is even likely that countries will be asked to disband ninja villages. This will be a major crisis for all ninjas in the ninja world. After the 2 main points of information were finished, about the personnel structure of the Akatsuki organization, etc., all the information that was passed back by Shenzo was also told by Nishu. There's even a part Itachi knows about. Questions about sealed tail beast, Geto statue, etc. Catch the tailed beast and seal it into a certain statue. What is this statue? Onoki asked. Tsunade shook his head. I don't know, there is only so much information available. At this moment Reikage snorted coldly. So this is the information Konoha has. So now let's talk about the Cloud Shinobi village problem. The problem of Konoha's Uchiha Sasuke destroying Cloud Shinobi village. And Tsunade looked at Reikage who was attacking again. Tsunade's mood was not particularly good because of mentioning Jiraiya, but now he is even more unhappy. What does Reikage want? Make Konoha compensate? Or start a war with Konoha? Tsunade was so tough, which Reikage didn't expect. But since Konoha dares, then now, Master Reikage. Suddenly Gaara spoke. Although she was the youngest, Gaara's aura was very strong at the moment. Now our common enemy is Akatsuki, an organization that has collected 7-tailed beasts. If they mobilize this force, I am afraid that any country present will be destroyed in a short period of time. Do you still want internal strife at this time? Reikage, who was just about to open his mouth to directly declare war on Konoha, looked back at Kazekage beside him, and did not expect Kazekage to be so bold at such a young age. How dare you talk to him like that? If Konoha doesn't give the old man an explanation, he won't give up if he hides. Tsunade nodded. Okay, Then let's go outside and play a game. If you beat me, then what do you want Konoha? Konoha will do. If you lose, shut up for my old lady. At this moment Raikage widened his eyes and looked at Tsunade. Hokage actually challenged him, what a surprise. Okay. Come on then. Master Hokage, I also want to experience the power of the rumored Sanin Tsunade princess. Speaking of which, Raikage planned to get up, which was unexpected by everyone present. Unexpectedly, the talks have just begun and become like this. 2. Suddenly the sound of the 3 boats sounded. Tsunade and Raikage, who were about to go out, both stopped at the same time. This is the meeting of the 5 cages. If the problem cannot be resolved through the negotiation, everyone, go back to your battle. The Land of Iron will not participate in any battles, but please don't fight against the Land of Iron. If you really want to fight, you have plenty of time. Hearing this, Tsunade glanced at Mifune. If you two really want to fight, leave the Iron Country. This is to directly let the two leave the meeting. However, Tsunade would naturally not be willing. After all, Akatsuki's problems were more serious. And Raikage would not be willing to ask Konoha for an explanation because he had nowhere to vent his anger. But if it really left, it would indeed be quite a headache for a village in Cloud Shinobi Village to face the Akatsuki organization. Waited quietly for 3 seconds. Neither of them made any movement. And at this time Gaara looked at Raikage. If Raikage is so focused on the matter of rebellion and tolerance, then there is no need to proceed with this meeting. I'm the one who died once, and also because of Uchiha Sasuke. I think the enemy is Sasuke. I lost to him because I wasn't strong enough. I can't blame others. If I'm a real man, a real ninja, then I should find my real enemy to avenge my shame. Gaara's words made Raikage even more angry. But what he said is right, there is a wrong and a debt, and his own behavior seems to be afraid to face Sasuke. Gaara's aggressive approach worked. That's good. The old man will settle accounts with Sasuke himself, but if Konoha dares to stop. Tsunade. Don't worry, this is a matter between ninjas and ninjas, it has nothing to do with the village, Lord Raikage will handle it himself. Snort. Movie snorted coldly, returned to his seat and sat down quietly without talking. Tsunade took a look at Gaara, thanking this young Kazekage-sama this time, otherwise it would not have ended well. I am afraid that after the fight, the Raikage issue will be resolved, but the talks will be equivalent to the end. Now, what I want to tell you is that although I don't know what the purpose of that strange statue of the Akatsuki organization is, once they get all the tailed beasts. Even if Konoha's first generation is resurrected at that time, I'm afraid I may not be able to deal with the Akatsuki organization. And now, the remaining 2 tailed beasts that have not been caught, one of them is my Konoha's Geomon. It can be regarded as the last tailed beast in the hands of our 5 Shadows village. Onogi froze for a moment and turned to look at Terumi Mei. Where is Kirigakure's 3 tails? Terumi Mei frowned. I don't know, since the death of Lord 4th Mizukage, 3 tails disappeared. Onoki. So that means the possibility of being caught by the Akatsuki organization cannot be ruled out? No. Tsunade said. 3 tails is not in the hands of Akatsuki, but in the hands of Uchiha Sasuke. What? The 4 looked at Tsunade in unison. 3 tails Jinchuriki. If you have seen Sasuke, then you should have the impression that it is the white-haired ninja beside him. Having dead bone pulse should be the only orphan left. Hearing this, Terumi Mei stood up with a bang. My Kirigakure's Wei Yoruichi tribe, there are survivors? That's right. Tsunade nodded. That child has a very serious blood disease, but it seems to have benefited from the tailed beast chakra, so he has completely recovered now, if he can master the tailed beast chakra and cooperate with dead bone pulse. Maybe it will be an extremely terrifying ninja. Hearing this, Terumi Mei almost couldn't help laughing. Once this 3 tails Jinchuriki is brought back to the village, Kirigakure's strength will increase a lot. I didn't expect it. The tailed beast in the ninja of Shueiji boundary can still have such a reaction. Teru Yoruichi clan. Dead bone pulse and tailed beast can indeed become an extremely powerful ninjutsu. Then all we need to do now is get the 3 tails Jinchuriki under control as soon as possible. In other words, we're going to take 3 tails Jinchuriki from Uchiha Sasuke, right? Onogi said exactly what Tsunade wanted to say. That's right. Although Uchiha Sasuke has left the Akatsuki organization now, if the Akatsuki organization cooperates with Uchiha Sasuke again, then 3 tails Jinchuriki will be here. Although Tsunade thinks the possibility is unlikely, but if Sasuke falls to the Akatsuki organization, it will be terrible. 3 tails has to be more reassuring to hold in their hands. Speaking of the issues that are basically understood now, a consensus is almost reached. At this time, Onoki stood up and looked at the crowd. I have already fought against Uchiha Sasuke, and I can't hide it, I lost completely. That kid's strength is terrifying. I'm afraid if we want to deal with Sasuke, the 5 of us may be able to do it together. The 5 of them shot together. Mifune looked at Tsuchikage and gave such a high evaluation. Is Uchiha Sasuke, a kid from the Uchiha clan, really that strong? It made him wonder what Uchiha Sasuke looked like. But right now the condition is good. This time Mifune opened his mouth. Since this is the case, I suggest that 5 cages establish a joint ninja army, so that we can deal with Uchiha Sasuke or the Akatsuki organization together to ensure nothing goes wrong. United Ninja Army? The 5 people glanced at each other, and there was no problem with the formation of the coalition army. But who will be the head coach? And at the same time. In the Akatsuki organization base, Nagato looked at the leaving pocket. Turning to look at Obito, the current Akatsuki organization, the missing part has been completed. Obito nodded, that's right. I never thought that there would be someone like him at this time. Then what do you want to do? Nagato asked Obito, and Obito smiled. At this time, you should ask yourself, what do you want to do? After all, you are the leader of the Akatsuki organization. This can be regarded as Obito's test. He wants to see if Nagato is willing to continue with that plan. After all, Nagato is different after talking with Sasuke alone. Although he still looked a little weak, the light in his eyes made Odai feel that it was not easy. Nagato smiled, then. Let's officially declare war on the 5 major powers. The tail beasts are almost collected, and now. You can capture 9 tails. Billions. Declare war. Obito looked at Nagato in surprise. He was stunned for a second, and then a smile slowly appeared in his eyes. It seems that Nagato has not changed, otherwise at this time, he should choose such an extreme way of direct combat. Now. Please take me there, Nagato speaks. Obito nodded to show that there was absolutely no problem. Using Kamui can quickly bring Nagato to the Iron Kingdom, and in 6 paths pain, you only need to bring the beast to pain. The rest can be summoned directly through the summoning technique. At this moment, Konan didn't quite understand Nagato's decision. Why he chose to declare war with 5 cages at this time. Nagato's real purpose is twofold. One is to resurrect Yahiko, and the other is to create real peace. But can declaring war bring peace? Obviously not. But why does Nagato still do this? But now, even though there are many questions in my heart, it is not suitable to ask at all. And Nagato seemed to know her concerns, and gave her a reassuring look. The 2 are then sucked in by Obito's Kamui. At this time, Sasuke is also ready to go to the country of iron. Come to the open space outside the base. Kimimaro and Shigego waited for Sasuke to create a big bird, and then took them to the Iron Kingdom. But this time, Sasuke didn't use the explosive clay to make any white birds. Instead, Susanoo was launched directly. Susanoo rose from the ground in an instant, and grabbed Kimimaro and Shigego. The huge wings spread out. Feel Susanoo like a world-ending titan. Even Orochimaru started to tremble, the chakra fluctuations were too amazing. Looking at Sasuke with Rinnegan, he couldn't understand why Sasuke suddenly had Rinnegan. Why exactly? What exactly did Sasuke break through to have Rinnegan all of a sudden? Sasuke. When Sasuke was about to set off, Orochimaru spoke. Uzumaki Naruto, this time is Tsunade's guard. If you go, you should meet him. Orochimaru just wanted to tell Sasuke about this situation. As for what Sasuke wanted to do, that was his own business. Nodding his head, Sasuke said he understood. Is Naruto here? That would be great. By the way, Naruto's Ashura chakra can also be analyzed. At that time, the double reincarnation Sharingan will be able to be opened, and the power will become even more amazing. At the same time, I don't know what it will be like with the heavenly hand power of the double reincarnation Sharingan. Thinking of Sasuke directly controlling Susanoo to soar into the sky, heading directly towards the Iron Kingdom. Leaving Honglian and others looking up at the sky. What a terrifying power. Uchiha Sasuke actually turned on Rinnegan. Could it be that Sharingan has evolved to the end and is Rinnegan? As Gurren spoke, Orochimaru was stunned. Yes. Is it Rinnegan at the end of evolution? But isn't Rinnegan only possessed by the legendary Sage of 6 Paths? If this is the case, doesn't that mean that the Sage of 6 Paths is the ancestor of the Uchiha clan? Is this possible? And at the moment Sasuke is enjoying the wind of freedom. The strong power brings Sasuke a more comfortable feeling. It seems that there is nothing between heaven and earth that can restrain oneself. This is what it feels like to become stronger. According to this speed, it will take less than 30 minutes to rush directly from Yinan village to Iron Country. The 5 shadow talks should not be over yet. But when Sasuke rushed to the country of Iron. On the other side, Nagato has already arrived first. As always, Conan is in a forest near the meeting place of the Iron Nation. A tree disguised with paper, and Nagato is in the tree. The seals appearing on the animal road directly summoned all 6 paths pain. 6 paths pain who were lying on the ground stood up one after another. Obito looked at Nagato. What are you going to do next? Nagato controls Tendo Pain. Yahiko walks towards Obito. Send him in. Hearing this, Obito was stunned for a moment, and just sent a heavenly Dao Pain? Shouldn't all 6 paths pens be sent in? Can it just be a heavenly pain? But since Nagato said it, then Obito doesn't need to worry about it. Let's take it directly. With Uzumaki reappearing, Tendo Pain disappears. Nagato let out a soft breath. Then let's see how much I can do now. A smile appeared on Nagato's mouth involuntarily as he spoke. At this time, the 5 cages had barely reached a consensus. But at this moment Tsuchikage has one more question to ask. Since we are going to form the Ninja United Army, everyone must have a certain degree of trust. Otherwise, if they are all hidden, I'm afraid it won't have much effect. So I still have a question here. I hope Lord Hokage can answer it. Hearing this, Tsunade was very puzzled. Is there anything unclear about the main generation Tsuchikage? Although this is Guikun's own business, the old man still wants to ask. Not long ago, Uchiha Itachi, a member of the Akatsuki organization, did you return to Konoha, and did you accept this traitor again? Hearing this, Reikage stood up immediately. He didn't know the news. Konoha, what is this for? Akatsuki's Uchiha Itachi Konoha re-accepted. There are many issues worth thinking about. Whether the various actions of the Akatsuki organization were instigated by Konoha, and now only Konoha's 9 tails has no accidents, this is worth thinking about. If this is the case, I'm afraid Master Hokage will not give a reasonable explanation, and the Ninja United Army may not be able to be established. Terumi Mei also opened her mouth to express her position. It is true that the problem is too great, and now. Tsunade didn't know what to say. Itachi was arranged by the 3rd generation. Could it be that the 3rd generation discovered the Akatsuki organization long ago, and arranged for Itachi to kill the Uchiha clan, while solving Konoha's internal problems? Can you also place an undercover agent for the Shao organization? Then the 3rd generation will probably have the reputation of being old and cunning forever. Let me explain this matter. Itachi, who was wearing a mask as the guard of Hokage, stood up and took off the mask. Looking at the Hokage guard who suddenly spoke, the crowd has not yet reacted. I am Uchiha Itachi. After hearing this, Shing just hesitated for a second. Then immediately erupted. He punched Itachi hard. People from the Shao organization. I will not let anyone go. The sudden change made no one present expect it. Reikage's movement was so fast that Tsunade didn't have time to stop it, but in the next second a wall of water appeared instantly. Blocked in front of Itachi. Beep. There was a roar and the ice wall shattered, but everyone was stunned. Who shot? Was it able to block the 4th Reikage's attack? All eyes looked towards Terumi Mei's direction, and then focused on Bai's body. Bai, who slowly lowered his arms, looked at the crowd. Everyone was very surprised. Unexpectedly, a guard next to Mizukage was able to block 4th Reikage's punch. And the speed of releasing ninjutsu is so fast, forming a seal with one hand, and it's still the limit of blood succession. Ice escape. Didn't it mean that this family has been exterminated in Yinkun? There are still clansmen left in Kirigakure. What a stroke of luck. 3rd Tsuchikage sighed secretly in his heart. Boy. What do you mean? Dare to block the old man's attack. 4th Reikage looked at Bai as if he wanted to eat people. But Bai didn't have any fear. Instead he spoke directly to Kaido. Master Reikage, before the matter is clear, shouldn't you listen a little bit? You're right. Reikage, I don't want to do it again. No matter what the reason is, you can't take a shot at my Konoha ninja casually. Do you know what your shot means? Tsunade's voice sounded. 4th Reikage's face became more gloomy. What does Hokage think it means? Do you really want to say it yourself? Well, Tsunade is not a vegetarian, eyes slightly closed. If you attack Konoha's ninja, you are challenging the whole Konoha. Challenge me. Master 4th Reikage wants to start a war with Konoha. As soon as the words are exported, third Tsuchikage Ono smiled helplessly. How dare you say that? As expected of the irascible Tsunade Heim, wouldn't it add fuel to the flames by saying such things under such circumstances? But such a strong posture does compound Tsunade's character. The same strength makes people dare not provoke easily. But the problem is, this meeting may really collapse. Onoki originally just wanted Itachi to stand up and say something, and then ask Itachi to see what happened. But I didn't expect fourth Raikage's reaction to be so intense. If the old man said, no matter what the reason, as long as he is a member of the Akatsuki organization, the old man will not let it go, even if he is now a member of Konoha. Fourth Raikage isn't holding back either. It's completely a look of being tough to the end. Tsunade didn't answer immediately, just adjusted his breathing gently. Now is a very critical moment. Regress or maintain your own attitude. Her choice will determine the future of the ninja world. At this moment, you don't think about how to deal with Akatsuki, who has captured the seven-tailed beasts. Instead, you look like you're going to fight here. Have you seriously considered this meeting? Suddenly Terumi Mei's voice sounded. The eyes of others gathered towards Terumi Mei. Konoha's, Uchiha Itachi, now I'm giving you a chance to explain why you left the Akatsuki organization, and why you were accepted by Hokage when you returned to Konoha. I think there must be a reason for it. Terumi Mei took the opportunity to give Itachi a plan to talk. And Itachi also glanced at Terumi Mei gratefully and nodded to Shiro at the same time. It can be regarded as an expression of gratitude for Bai's help just now. Joining the Akatsuki organization is because of the order of the third generation heavenly man. Sir, third generation? Third Hokage? Tsunade sighed softly. It seems that third generation's reputation is hopeless. No matter how euphemistic, Itachi said, none of the moviegoers present were idiots, and it was easy to think of the key points based on the problems. I joined the Akatsuki organization to find out the purpose of the Akatsuki organization. Since the Akatsuki organization has not acted for so many years, I have received very little information. And now because the Akatsuki organization has started to act, so we get more information. At the same time, after I figured out the purpose of Akatsuki's organization, I chose to return to Konoha. Everyone looked at Itachi in front of them, third generation's arrangement. Itachi defected from Konoha back then, but it was because of the Uchiha genocide incident. At that time, third generation arranged for him to join the Akatsuki organization, which meant that Uchiha's genocide was facilitated by this guy from third generation. This old and cunning guy is really ruthless. If Uchiha Itachi hadn't reappeared today, I'm afraid this matter would never have been known. You were arranged by Sarutobi? Ha ha ha. As expected of Sarutobi Hiruzen, what a great handwriting. Third Tsuchikage Onogi burst out laughing directly. The other shadows didn't dare to speak, but Onogi, who is also the third generation, directly spoke to Hiruzen. Fourth Raikage, are there any questions now? Turning his head to ignore Tsunade's hostile gaze, Onogi looked directly at fourth Raikage. The expression on Raikage's face was constantly changing at this moment. He didn't expect Konoha's late third generation to be such a black-hearted guy. To do such a thing, let others bear the infamy of destroying their own family, and then arrange for the other party to enter the Shao organization. This is reuse after use. What method was used to brainwash this guy? So thoroughly washed. Fourth Raikage, who sat down with his eyes closed, did not answer third generation's question. Seeing this, the others also breathed a sigh of relief, and it seemed that the talks could continue. It's just that Konoha's third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen has now become the object of everyone's contempt. Very well, the last question has been resolved. Since Master Hokage has chosen to believe, let us also believe in Master Hokage's judgment. Onogi showed his affection to Tsunade by the way, after all, he couldn't hold back the sarcasm of Sarutobi just now. Tsunade glanced at him indifferently. Onoki also sat down and glanced at Mifune. At this time, it was Mifune's turn, and the 5 cages had no problem, so the next step was the problem of the Ninja United Army. It seems that everyone has already thought it over clearly, and all questions and problems have been temporarily resolved. There shouldn't be any opinion on the establishment of the Ninja United Army. Everyone was silent. This is tantamount to answering. Mifune stood up slowly. Then the next question is about the leadership of the Ninja United Army. Everyone, do you have anyone who wants to recommend yourself? If so, can you tell me now, or who do you think is the most suitable captain? Now is the time to discuss seniority. Third Tsuchikage Onogi coughed twice, ready to stand up and say something. However, at this time, a strange Uzumaki appeared in the air. Wukage cheered up immediately. As Uzumaki expanded, a figure appeared directly in front of the shadows. And just standing on the table in front of Mifune. A black robe with a red cloud-like pattern. 5 cages and the ninja guards rushed out one after another. And it wasn't Obito who appeared in front of everyone. But Heavenly Pain. With the appearance of Teondo Pain, the 5 cages and the guards who were present all felt a strong sense of oppression. Among them is the 4th Raikage in particular. As a shadow who has already fought against Teondo Pain, he can feel it more clearly. Compared with the last fight, the strength of Teondo Pain seems to be stronger this time. However, according to the information provided by Konoha, this guy seems to be just a puppet, and it is still unclear who is really behind the scenes. Asshole. It's you. Raikage opened his mouth and glared at him directly. However, Teondo Pain just glanced at 4th Raikage lightly. We meet again. Cloud Shinobi's Raikage-sama. Yahiko smiled faintly. And this smile seemed ironic to 4th Raikage, and he couldn't help but want to do it. Darui stopped him. Lord Raikage, calm down. Hearing this, Raikage held back his urge. Now is indeed not the best time to make a move. This guy's ability to bounce back is really very lazy. You are from the Akatsuki organization. What are you doing here? Are you trying to provoke our 5 ninja kingdoms? 3rd Tsuchikage Onoki was not that impatient, but he was also very upset about such a bold guy. Facing 3rd Tsuchikage's questioning, Yahiko turned to look at this guy. My purpose in coming here is simple. Aren't you 5 shadows discussing how to deal with my Akatsuki organization? Since this is the case, let's make it official. Challenge. Challenge what? Yahiko looked around for a week, and took a look at Wukage and everyone who was guarding Wukage. The Akatsuki organization. Now. Declares war on the 5 major powers. Declare. Declare. Declare war? Isn't this a joke? This guy actually declared war on the 5 great powers? The 5 great nations of ninjas. This is the 5 great nations of ninjas. The confidence from the Akatsuki organization dares to say such a thing. It's just an organization, and the 5 major countries are just because their positions are secret, and the ninjas in the organization are also extremely elite. It's just a headache. If war is declared, then even if the 5 great powers fight head-on, even if they use the tactics of crowds, they can easily defeat this organization. This guy is looking for death. Looking at your appearance, it seems that we are not serious about declaring war. I can tell you that the world of the 5 ninja kingdoms will end with me, and the era of ninjas will also be completely past. From now on, I will build a truly peaceful world. A world without war, said Yahiko's face showing fanaticism. A world without post-war chaos. Ha ha. A group of idiots. Do you think that if you catch the tail beast, you can control the entire ninja world? Onoki laughed. And this laughter made Nagato feel very bad. So Teondo Pain also lowered his head and turned to stare at the person in front of him. Killing intent is emerging in his eyes. Black Earth frowned? I don't know the heights of the sky and the earth. Today you can see if you can leave here before talking. After the words fell, Hei-2 directly started. Even Onoki didn't expect this move. In the face of an enemy whose strength and ability are unknown, how can he shoot at will? Moreover, Hei-2 actually planned to attack in close quarters. The black soil that jumped out directly, waved his fist, and launched the rock fist technique directly in the air. His hands were instantly covered with a layer of rock. He waved his fist and slammed it fiercely at Teondo Pain. However, in the next second, Teondo Pain raised his hand and directly grabbed Black Soil's fist, Nagato at his peak. The chakra passed to Teondo Pain is also quite terrifying. Grab the black soil directly, and throw it towards the other side, pulled by huge force. Hei-2 instantly lost control over his body. Being smashed in the direction of Tsunade, Tsunade raised his hand to catch the black soil firmly. In the next second, Tamari and Konkuro shot directly. You are the leader of the Akatsuki organization. We've wanted to see you for a long time, and you're finally here. With Temari's roar, and the storm formed by the sudden swing of the iron fan in his hand, it mixed into wind-style chakra. It directly turned into a powerful wind blade and cut directly towards Teondo Pain. At the same time, the puppet on the other side also appeared behind Teondo Pain. The 2 consecutive attacks were easily dodged by Teondo Pain. The roar sounded, and the attacks of the 2 were still powerful, but they didn't hit Yahiko very well. The wall was instantly smashed by the 2 of them. What a nimble guy, 3rd Tsuchikage said. Bai said directly. Then trap him first. I'm here to seal his actions. As soon as the voice fell, the cold air surged instantly, one hand formed a seal, and the ground was instantly frozen. Tiando Pain glanced at his feet in surprise. The ice directly froze his feet. At almost the same time, Reikage escorted Darui, and Itachi, who had been waiting, shot at the same time. Darui, who swung his ninja sword and slashed towards Yahiko, and throw several shurikens, and use fire style to assist. Fire style, Crimson Claw. The two attacks pinched Yahiko in tandem. At this moment, Nagato smiled coldly, and suddenly the powerful chakra wave broke out. Fourth Reikage quickly shouted to Darui, be careful, he can deflect all attacks. Next second, God Luo Tianzhong, hum. The instant burst of repulsive force bounced off the attacks of both of them. However, the next second when Shenluo Tianzhong broke out, a golden light flashed in Reikage's eyes. Hurry up now. Every time this guy uses this ability, there will be a few seconds of idle time. With a roar, 5 cages made a move almost at the same time. Lightning-style chakra mode broke out, strange power fist. Dust escape, sandbound coffin. Lava-style, monster-dissolving technique. The power of 5 cages swept across in an instant. But Nagato, who was somewhere at the moment, laughed. The cooling time after using Shenluo Tianzhong is just because one's body is weak and needs a certain amount of time to recover. However, now his body has completely recovered to its peak. Cool down? What cools? Shinra, Tianzhong. Suddenly, Gokage's attack enveloped Yahiko, and a more intense white light burst out suddenly. At this moment Reikage was stunned, this familiar feeling. Impossible. What a gap this guy has. Why is he still able to use this power? Boom. An astonishing roar instantly resounded throughout the meeting place, and at the same time, a purple ray of light from the sky struck straight like a shooting star. And it fell straight towards the place where the 5 cages met. Accompanied by Tiando Pain's Shenluo Tianzhong outbreak. In an instant, the entire room was instantly destroyed. Wukage, as well as Wukage's guards, shot at this moment to block this astonishing power. Then the dust and smoke swept across, and everyone was engulfed by the dust and smoke. Even the samurai with Mifune and Iron Country disappeared. After a deafening roar, the venue prepared for the meeting was instantly swallowed by white light. The warriors who were guarding the periphery turned their heads to look at the meeting place surrounded by them. All of a sudden it was destroyed. The shock wave spread in all directions, and the warriors all saw Sao. How is this going? 5 cages up. How did a good conversation suddenly become like this? The moment the roar sounded, purple streamers fell from the sky on the other side. Also just landed. Under the cover of the roar, no one noticed the movement on Sasuke's side at all. When the light of Shenluo Tianzhong dissipated, the dust and smoke slowly spread. The situation of the 5 shadows in the dust and smoke is not yet clear, but the body of the god Pain Yahiko slowly fell from the sky. Seeing this person, the black robe has a red pattern on it. Immediately the warriors reacted one after another. Someone invaded. How can this be? A large group of them guarded outside, not even a single fly flew in. How did the enemy get inside? The warriors drew out their weapons one after another and surrounded them in the direction of Tiando Pain. And at this time Yahiko looked around, completely samurai these rushing samurai. Although the warriors of the Iron Kingdom can also use chakra to fight, but for Yahiko. Basically, it is no different from the flowers and plants on the side of the road, and it can be trampled to death with one foot. And in the smoke. 5 cages, in the direction of Hokage, the red Susanoo enveloped Tsunade and Naruto, and even the attack of Shinra Tenji didn't suffer any damage at all. In the direction of Reikage, Darui's and Zai's joint efforts also successfully blocked the impact. In the direction of Tsuchikage, the terracotta turned into a huge earth wall, which blocked the impact, and Onoki was also intact. Bai condensed an ice wall, and 3 people lived in it. Gaara's sand also blocked Pain's Shenluo Tianzhong. However, although the attack was blocked, Wying was also disgraced. They looked at Yahiko in front of them. This is the power of the leader of the Akatsuki organization. It turned out to be so powerful, Wying couldn't stop them with one blow. Dawn. That's right. As expected of 5 cages, it really wasn't that easy to solve. Cough cough cough. The only injured person was Da Sanfun, the boss of Iron Country. He crawled out of the rock pile and had many wounds on his body. Although the injury was not that serious, it was indeed injured. Mifune was shocked. The place specially built for the 5 Cages conference was destroyed so easily. Is this the power of Akatsuki? Very scary. Tsunade looked at Tiondo Pain. According to Jiraiya's information, besides the guy in front of him who has Rinnegan, there are 5 other people who also have Rinnegan. And everyone's abilities are different. Right now, it's just a Dystosha. Tsunade could imagine how difficult it was for Jiraiya to face such an enemy. But Tsunade got it wrong. The current power of Tiondo Pain is equivalent to the time when he hit all chakra and concentrated on controlling one. Even beyond that level, it wasn't the pain that Jiraiya had played against back then. Now Wang looked at Tiondo Pain's expression changed, and they all became very dignified. The power of Shenluo Tianzheng is so terrifying, not to mention deflecting all the attacks of the 5 of them, but also making them so embarrassed. The power of the Shao organization is indeed terrifying. But at this moment, Naruto suddenly trembled slightly. Then he turned his head and looked in the direction of the forest. His eyes looked into the distance. The direction he was looking at was exactly where Sasuke was. Sasuke, who came out of the forest slowly, stood on the hillside and looked down. With Shigego and Kimimaro beside him, they also followed Sasuke silently. Although they restrained their aura as much as possible, Naruto, who had practiced Sage Mode, could easily feel Sasuke's aura. He came. Suddenly Naruto spoke, breaking the eerie silence. This sudden sentence made Tsunade stunned for a moment. He is here. Who was coming? Just about to ask. Tsunade suddenly responded, what you said is true. Naruto nodded. The other shadows were originally looking at Tiondo Pain extremely intently, but Tsunade's exclamation made them turn their heads to look at Tsunade. Want to see what's going on here? Before he had time to ask, Bai also showed a smile. Terumi Mei sensed Bai's emotional change. Bai, do you feel something? When Yanbai nodded, the Lord is here, that grown up. The other shadows are very curious about this title, who is called Adult by Mizukage guards. Who is coming? Hokage's guards say he's coming, and Mizukage's guards seem to sense it too. Reikage suddenly turned his head to look at his guard Shi, who was sweating profusely at the moment. Rei. Master Reikage. Not good. Not good. This aura is. Uchiha Sasuke. Nozomi still remembers Uchiha Sasuke's aura. When Cloud Shinobi Village was invaded last time, he had clearly sensed Sasuke's chakra. Compared with last time, Sasuke's aura is even more terrifying. So much so that it made him feel as if a mountain suddenly appeared in front of him, and he didn't even have the qualifications to look up. With such terrifying chakra fluctuations, this person. How has he become stronger again? And he has become so much stronger. Tiondo Pain is now frowning. Meanwhile, absolutely slowly appeared in front of Obito and Nagato. Uchiha Sasuke is coming too. This guy is watching you from the hillside of the southwest seat. Hearing this, Nagato immediately controlled Tiondo Pain to look in that direction. Sure enough, even though the distance was not too close, he could still vaguely see a figure. Uchiha Sasuke. Really coming. At this time, I came to the meeting place of the 5 shadows. What does this guy want to do? Sasuke felt Naruto's peeping, and also felt Pain's gaze. The corners of Sasuke's mouth raised slightly. It's so lively. Such a lively place, how can I miss it? Let's go. Kimimaro. Let's go and tell these people, it's better not to think about 3 tails. Take the leap. 3 people, Sasuke, Shigego, and Kimimaro. Unexpectedly, at the same time, he jumped from the hillside injury towards Wu Ying's position below. With their astonishing jumping ability, the 3 of them jumped tens of meters in an instant, and the distance they jumped was even more astonishing. It directly spanned a distance of nearly 100 meters. It fell into the position of the 5 shadows. Bang bang. Bang bang. With the sound of 3 roars, the 3 of them fell to the ground completely. High-profile appearance. It directly attracted the eyes of everyone present, and the warriors still couldn't understand the sudden appearance of Sasuke. Who is this? It actually appeared here directly. However, in the next second, the aura on Sasuke's body exploded, and the chakra surged out instantly. Instantly blows away the smoke. Even with the strong chakra fluctuations, the surrounding warriors all felt unsteady. Sasuke stood up slowly and looked around, looking at the 5 shadows present and Tiondo Pain. Sasuke glanced at Tiondo Pain suspiciously. The person who didn't expect to come is Nagato. Right. Nagato's body has recovered. I'm afraid the Akatsuki organization is still dominated by Nagato now. Obito did not appear, probably because Nagato, the spokesperson, is still there. And Nagato, who has returned to his peak state, may not be willing to be just a spokesperson. Uchiha. Sasuke. Suddenly a familiar roar sounded. Sasuke glanced in the direction of the growl. Movie. This guy looked at himself as if he saw some life and death enemy. But Sasuke didn't pay much attention to each other. Instead, he turned his head and looked at Naruto, who was dressed in anbu. He didn't speak immediately, but Naruto slowly took off his mask. Sasuke. I didn't expect you to come here too. Hearing this, Sasuke smiled. I can't help it, if you want to play Three Tails, I have to come. Speaking of Three Tails, it was only at this time that other people suddenly noticed Kimimaro beside him. At this moment, Kimimaro did not hide the chakra breath of the tailed beast at all. Released generously, everyone can feel the breath from Three Tails. At the same time, what surprised Gokage was that judging from Kimimaro's breath damage, this guy is also very strong. And just standing there can give people a strong sense of oppression. They are shadows. This guy can actually give them a sense of oppression as shadows? How can this be? Could it be that this Three Tails Jinchuriki already has the strength comparable to those shadows? But after feeling it carefully, I found that it is not only Kimimaro, the Three Tails Jinchuriki, who is worth admiring, but also Chongo on the other side. There are also powerful chakra fluctuations around the body, which others may not see. But as Naruto, who has practiced Sage Mode, he can clearly feel the powerful magic chakra on Chongo. This guy seems to be absorbing natural energy all the time. Although the amount absorbed is not too much, this kind of power absorbs natural energy anytime and anywhere. In other words, the opponent can maintain the absorption of natural energy during the battle. How could it be possible to have such an ability? When Naruto looked at Shigego with a surprised face, Sasuke smiled and was about to speak to Naruto. And at this time Nagato spoke, controlling Tiondo Pain, and talking to Sasuke. Sasuke, Three Tails. You will never hand it over, right? Hearing this question, Sasuke looked back at Yahiko, more precisely at Nagato. Gently nodded. That's right. Three Tails. No one can move. Hearing Sasuke say this with such certainty in front of everyone, Kimimaro was quite moved in his heart. Nagato knew it would be the answer. Helplessly sighed. Obito also smiled. Without Three Tails, our plan would not be successful. In other words, they had to get Three Tails, and that means. It seems. We can only become enemies. Yahiko opened his mouth slowly, his eyes softened and turned south. In an instant, the murderous air spread. The surrounding temperature seemed to drop a lot suddenly. The warriors shrank their heads and swallowed silently. Sasuke glanced at Tendo Pain, and then at the 5 cages. Originally, when the 5 cages were meeting, Sasuke came here just to tell everyone that Three Tails was safe even in his hands. At the same time, Sasuke wanted to fight Naruto again, and thoroughly analyzed Ashura's chakra. Mastered Ashura chakra, 27.6% now with Rinnegan, parsing should be even faster. After all, Sasuke's Sharingan's blood inheritance limit has been raised to the 10th level, which is quite different from before. But right now, Nagato's words suddenly made Sasuke want to do something more daring. It is impossible for Three Tails to be handed over to them, and the 5 cages also care about Three Tails, and now even Tsunade seems to dare not fully trust himself. Not to mention other movies. In their eyes, the Three Tails must also be in their hands, otherwise it would be even more difficult for Shao to organize them. Gokage looked at him with hostility, even Tsunade. Although Tsunade's gaze still looked a little tangled and hesitant, there was a trace of fear hidden in it. Also caught by Sasuke. Since both sides have the intention to regard themselves as enemies, then let's really become enemies. Okay. Sasuke smiled at Tendo Pain. At the same time, he glanced at the 5 shadows. Since this is the case, let's make the storm stronger. I, Uchiha Sasuke, now officially declare war on your 5 major nations and the Akatsuki organization. Everyone froze for a moment, including Nagato and Obito. Sasuke would say such shocking words, this. What does this guy do want? One person. Challenge the 5 major countries and Shao organization. Naruto wanted to say something, but Sasuke stopped him with a look. At this moment, Sasuke's eyes looked very indifferent. A young kid who thinks he's strong enough to challenge our 5 great powers. Just you alone? No matter how strong you are, you're only one person, unless you have an army of ninjas. Onoki is still unwilling to lose to Sasuke last time. If you understand Sasuke's ability clearly, then he can't lose so fast. And now, Onoki finds Sasuke's arrogance and ignorance very ridiculous. One person is enough. Uchiha Sasuke, alone, is an army of ninjas. And at this moment, Sasuke's hair swayed slightly. Expose. The left eye, with purple eyes and circles of black outlines, Wang froze in place for an instant. This is Rinnegan. How could Uchiha Sasuke have Rinnegan? Phew. The appearance of Rinnegan shocked everyone present. It would be surprising enough to say that Akatsuki's leader Pain has a Rinnegan, but now Sasuke also has a Rinnegan. This is not just as simple as surprise, simply shocking. Sasuke's strength is already too strong, if you add the legendary Rinnegan. How strong is that strength? And more importantly, how exactly does Sasuke own Rinnegan? Why? Why would he have Rinnegan? It shouldn't be. The most shocking person at the moment should be Nagato. He is very clear about the origin of Rinnegan. But why does Sasuke in front of him? Why does he have these eyes? Sasuke. Uchiha Sasuke. Your eyes. What's going on with? Tiondo Pain's voice sounded, and Sasuke turned to look at him. Don't you have Rinnegan too? You should know. At this moment Nagato himself looked at Obito, hoping that Obito would explain. And now, although Obito didn't see it with his own eyes, he also knew what happened after relentless retelling. Whether it is Sasuke's amazing declaration of war, or the appearance of Rinnegan now, the king's brain is almost in a state of shutdown. Sasuke owns Rinnegan, though it's only a Rinnegan. So that's how it is, I understand, Rinnegan's opening conditions. For a split second Obito echoed Uchiha Madara. Why Madara can open Rinnegan is because of Hashirama's cells. Plus Madara herself already has eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and her pupil power has reached the limit of Sharingan. With the help of Hashirama cells, so Rinnegan was successfully opened. And Sasuke, he also has Wood-style's blood succession limit, but he doesn't have Hashirama's cells. So I opened a Rinnegan, but in the future, if Sasuke raises the limit of Wood-style's blood inheritance to the level of Senju Hashirama, so maybe he'll be able to activate another Rinnegan too. So, is this how Rinnegan was activated? When Obito was silent, because he thought that the king did not intend to tell himself. In this case, let's get the answer from Sasuke. Tendo Pain looked at Sasuke. Rinnegan. Very good. I really want to know how your Rinnegan, even though it's only one, compares to my Rinnegan. Hearing this, Sasuke raised his brows. Did he want to fight with himself? To be honest, Sasuke doesn't want to waste time on him. All Sasuke wants is Naruto. Complete analysis of Ashura Chakra as soon as possible, master the complete Ashura Chakra, and open another Rinnegan. Only in this way can we become stronger. With double Rinnegan, Sasuke can face Otsutsuki Kagaya confidently. But judging by Tiondo Pain's appearance, he must do something. If you want to try it, then die. Beep. Sasuke, who was going to make a move, didn't intend to keep his hand at all, and when he made a move, he went with the attitude of directly killing Tiondo Pain in an instant. There was a thunderbolt under his feet. Although lightning style is not turned on, the lightning quick flash mode. But through the discharge, the thunder that was unleashed briefly gave Sasuke a boost of acceleration. It is only 10 meters away from Li Tien Dao Pain, and the start time is far shorter than that of lightning. Can achieve more unexpected effects. At the same time, it can control chakra to erupt from the soles of the feet, using some of the characteristics of the body flicker technique, while not using mudras. Although not as fast as the real body flicker technique. It can win if it can be activated instantly and does not seal. The ground exploded directly, as if a bomb exploded and shattered the ground. Sasuke's figure was ejected instantly while waving his fist. Chakra erupted instantly in the body, accompanied by the bombardment of the fist, and the fist appeared directly in front of Tiondo Pain in the next second. At this moment, Wukage didn't react. Sasuke said that he did it directly, and the speed was unbelievable. At this speed, even if the fourth generation feels that it has turned on the lightning-style chakra mode, it may not be able to explode. However, the speed of the instant explosion was very fast, but in front of Tiondo Pain, the speed was obviously much slower. And this also gave Tiondo Pain time to react. The moment Rinnegan locks onto Sasuke, Shinra Tenjin explodes again. However, in the past, Shenluo Tianzhong was able to block any attack and bounce it away. But this time, everyone saw another picture. Sasuke, who swung his fist at Tendo Pain, didn't bounce off the head. Instead, the repulsive force that broke out with Shenluo Tianzhong continued to impact. The white light rubbed wildly with Sasuke's fist. The burst of light from chakra exploded in an instant, and there was a faint tendency to suppress Shenluo Tianzhong. At this moment, cold sweat broke out on Nagato's forehead. Quickly looked at Obito, who was on the side. Send, Beast Dao Pain. At the same time, Nagato also held his breath suddenly, and directly burst into a more powerful chakra wave. The Shenluo Tianzhong on Tiando Pain exploded with stronger power. Beep. Sasuke's attack was still blocked. But it only made Sasuke retreat 5 or 6 meters towards the rear, while the other side, Tiando Pain, slid back a distance of more than 10 meters before slowly stopping. Seeing this scene, Wang suddenly gasped. All the shadows who have experienced Shenluo Tianzhong very clearly understand the power of these 10 moves. If it were them, the attack would probably be bounced off in an instant, but Sasuke's attack could suppress this move in reverse. Even repelled pain. This guy. Just how strong was that punch just now? Since there is no real hit on the enemy, 5 cages cannot judge the strength of Sasuke. But it is very clear that the amount of chakra that erupted just now is definitely a lot. And judging from the type of chakra's outbreak, seems to be somewhat similar to Hokage's strange power fist. Could it be that Tsunade taught him? They looked at Tsunade one after another, and Tsunade also noticed the eyes of the other 4 shadows. Don't look at me, I didn't teach him any patience. Well, Hokage voluntarily denies it, so obviously it can't be a joke. But how could Sasuke have such an attacking technique similar to the Senju family's monster power? And this power seems to be stronger than Tsunade, who has Senju blood. As expected of someone who can open Rinnegan by himself, Nagato controlled Tendo Pen to look up at Sasuke. His eyes were full of shock. However, at the same time, the strange Uzumaki appeared again. And this time it was naturally the Beast Dao Pain. Seeing another person from the Akatsuki organization appear, Gokage's expression became more serious. Sasuke watched the emergence of Uzumaki, and then watched the appearance of the Beast Dao Pain. Sasuke frowned. It seemed that Nagato was planning to fight himself seriously. The first time the animal Dao Pain appeared, the heavenly Dao Pain seemed to protect him intentionally. And the next second, the Beast Dao Pain suddenly slapped the ground hard. Summoning. Bang bang bang. Instant white smoke burst out, and Pain's 6 paths were all summoned. Such a summoning technique, summoning people? 5 shadows were immediately stunned. Summoning does not work like this. Man. How is it possible to be summoned so easily and simply? Absolutely can't be this easy. So easy. I see. No wonder this guy was able to rush the other companions over in a short time last time. It turned out that he used the summoning technique. 4th Raikage seems to understand something now, but he is puzzled why he can summon people so easily. This is a real person. How could be summoned so easily? Even if a contract is signed, the reverse summoning between humans and summoning beasts requires a lot of preparation. Not to mention the summoning between people, which is simply impossible. 5 shadows were lost in thought. And the appearance of 6 paths Pain, the momentum exploded instantly. The chakra fluctuations of the 6 people mixed together, instantly setting off an astonishing storm and sweeping towards the surroundings. It makes people have no time to think and is pulled back to reality in an instant. Master Tsuchikage, shall we do it? Akatsuki asked 3rd Tsuchikage. And 3rd Tsuchikage took a look at the other shadows. Look first. Both of them have too much power that we don't understand. This happens to be an opportunity. The so-called knowing oneself and knowing the enemy. Now there is a free opportunity to watch the battle to understand the abilities of the two, which is a very rare opportunity for them 5 shadows. If you want to rely on your own strength to test out the strength of the two. A ninja who doesn't know how much to sacrifice. Now this kind of opportunity to obtain information on the abilities of 2 people for free is too difficult. Tsunade and others also understood what onogi meant, and they didn't want to intervene at this time. Everyone silently retreated to the side to watch. Although they are just watching the battle now, once one of them shows signs of defeat, the 5 shadows will make a move. Shigego and Kimimaro retreated behind Sasuke, guarding Gokage. It seemed that all of a sudden the people around gave way for the 2 of them to have a wide enough space for them to fight. Sasuke gently twisted his neck. The strength is much stronger. It seems that after your body recovers, you have become stronger than just a little bit. Hearing this, Wang was slightly taken aback. Body recovered? Could it be that the leader of the Akatsuki organization was injured before? When did you get hurt? Was it injured during the invasion of Cloud Shinobi Village? The others cast a casual glance at Raikage. Raikage frowned directly. Injured? Impossible. The last time I fought against that guy, didn't he get hurt at all? Hearing what Raikage said, Onoki was even more puzzled. But soon an even more incredible guess came to mind. Could this guy have been injured before he invaded your Cloud Shinobi Village? That's all for now, everyone knows the rest. If it is what Onoki said, then it means that the leader of the Akatsuki organization invaded Cloud Shinobi Village while being injured, but also destroyed Cloud Shinobi Village, severely damaged 4th Raikage, and captured the 8-star calendar. Though 8 Tails Jinchuriki wasn't actually caught by Nagato. But even just destroying Cloud Shinobi Village and severely injuring 4th Raikage, these two things are beyond the reach of ordinary people. Not to mention the state of injury. The leader of the Akatsuki organization is also a terrifying monster. Thank you so much, Sasuke. If it wasn't for you to treat me and restore my body to its peak state, I'm afraid I'm about to die now. Yahiko's voice sounded. These words surprised Gokage even more. Sasuke treated the leader of Akatsuki organization? Didn't you start the Akatsuki organization? Why do you want to treat this guy? Moreover, a person who is dying can actually help him return to the peak state of his body. How is Sasuke treated? I am afraid that there is no other person in the entire ninja world who can possess this kind of medical skill except Tsunade-ji, one of the Sannin. Does sighing look at Tsunade? They wondered, did Tsunade teach Sasuke medical ninjutsu? However, only Tsunade knows that he has never passed any medical ninjutsu to Sasuke. Besides Sasuke's terrifying talent, self-taught medical ninjutsu, and blazing his own path, Tsunade is not surprised at all. After all, if you haven't seen that kind of talent with your own eyes, you won't understand it. HMPH. That's fine. I also want to see how powerful you can unleash when you are at your peak. Sasuke's gaze instantly became murderous. Chakra suddenly boiled up. The black thunder spontaneously emerged, like a circle of lightning runes, spreading under Sasuke's feet. Surrounding Sasuke continued to spread, turning into waves and rolling. The roar of thunder and lightning resounded. Nagato also put up the formation directly. Shira Dao Pain flew out in an instant, and the speed of this instant burst made Wu Ying's eyes flash in an instant. One word. Incredibly fast. A step made a small crater explode in the ground instantly, and the figures that were ejected were directly accelerated like cannonballs. A series of afterimages formed in the air. This is just the blessing of physical skills. How can it be possible to explode at such a weird speed? Asura Way. Sasuke narrowed his eyes slightly. Each of the 6 paths Pain has its own special ability, and Shira Dao Pain's special ability is not only extremely amazing in strength. Another important point is to be able to summon various weapons for attack. Even the summoned weapons are not limited to this era, but all weapons that have battles, the summons of Shira Dao. For example, the missiles summoned when they invaded Konoha in the original work, the missiles are probably the weapons of the ninja world in the later world, but Shira Dao can still summon them. He is not a matter of body modification, but of summoning. Sasuke's eyes stared at Shira Dao rushing towards him, the reason why Shira Dao Pain's speed could become so amazing. It was because his legs seemed to summon some mechanical body. With such a blessing, the speed will become so amazing. Shira Dao, who broke through the wind, slammed his fists towards Sasuke's face fiercely. At this moment, the fist also deformed suddenly, and strange black spikes appeared on the back of the fist, although they were very small. But the degree of solidity is probably not low. Sasuke shrugged lightly, let's start warming up. Lightning burst. Sasuke also rushed out instantly. The moment fists collide, an astonishing air shock wave erupted, and ripples visible to the naked eye instantly set off. Buzz. The roar sounded, Sasuke's eyes narrowed slightly, and the wrist of Shira Dao Pain in front of him turned into some kind of mechanical arm. Comes with some sort of shock-reducing hydraulics. The sheer power erupting from the fist was even more amazing than Sasuke. If it weren't for relying on chakra to erupt, Sasuke might be suppressed by Shira Dao in terms of strength. Punch. The movement that should be made immediately stunned the 5 cages and the warriors of the Iron Kingdom. The storm blew up and billowed an astonishing amount of smoke. The smoke spreads and disappears in an instant. Sasuke and Shira Dao retracted their fists at the same time, and the confrontation of physical skills began. Boom boom boom. Suddenly the figures of the 2 people flickered continuously, and the fist shadows continued. The shocks caused one after another, just like the earth is constantly trembling slightly. Feeling the shock coming from under his feet, he looked at the two people who were fighting fiercely in front of them. Mifune was stunned. Is this still the power that humans can possess? What kind of monsters are on both sides? This kind of power is unbelievable. Sanfuan was completely dumbfounded. And these samurai of Iron Country, holding the samurai swords in their hands now, also feel a strong sense of powerlessness. The sword skills they are proud of seem to be a joke in the face of these two. Reikage's eyes fixed on the two of them. It was a fierce confrontation. The strength of these two people is so terrifying. A random punch can induce air currents and create an astonishing explosion. Onoki nodded. That's right. Both sides are top-notch in terms of physical skills. Gaara stared at Sasuke's figure. He thought that without one tail, he would gain strength after experiencing life and death. It is already completely capable of dealing with Sasuke, but now it seems that it is only the strength of physical skills displayed by Sasuke. It's not something he can fight casually. Why? Uchiha Sasuke always improves so fast. Feeling hopeless and hopeless. In the fierce physical confrontation, Sasuke assisted with lightning style, just like the history of Chakra's outbreak. For Chakra's meticulous control, even if the power of the essence is not as good as that of Shira Dao, the impact force that erupts can be completely equal to that of Shira Dao. And Sasuke also always has Rinnegan Sharingan fully opened. Astonishingly insightful, Shira Dao was suppressed. With one punch and one kick, the moment Shira Dao was forced back, Sasuke got close to him and launched physical crushing. Although it is not comparable in strength, in terms of physical skills, Sasuke's skills are not comparable to Shira Dao. Nagato frowned. In his peak state, Shira Dopain, who was controlling, was actually suppressed. If one pen isn't enough, get some more. Human way. Beep. Although Pain is naturally inferior to Asura Dao in terms of strength, he has the blessing of the black stick and cooperates with Shira Dao Pain. The battle situation changed instantly. 1-on-2, although Sasuke was not able to suppress, Sasuke still did not lose the win. Raiden swims on Sasuke's body. An astonishing thunder burst out and rushed directly to the world. In an instant, the black lightning style hit Ren Jindao's chest, directly piercing Ren Jindao's body. Such a terrifying lightning style broke out in an instant. This left Reikage stunned. Even he might not be able to unleash such a powerful lightning style. Not to mention instant casting in such a fierce battle. It is simply impossible. There is no time to connect the seal. Sasuke is relying on the attack of pure lightning style chakra. Actually, for Sasuke already used ninjutsu, just basic lightning style ninjutsu, discharge. Aha! Suddenly the beast Dao Pain shot, accompanied by two bursts of white smoke. Sudden. Two huge summoning beasts, a rhinoceros and a pit bull, rushed out from a distance. Boom. Shira Dao kicked Sasuke directly, but Sasuke was not injured, and blocked the blow with one arm, but the impact made Sasuke's body slip rapidly on the ground. And the two summoning beasts rushed straight towards him. If it is hit by these two summoning beasts, I am afraid it will not be so good. Raise your hands to print. Summoning backquote. Bang, bang. Sasuke slapped his hands on the ground directly. Green Snake and Shin Ya were summoned by Sasuke at the same time. Instantly summoned two summoning beasts, two big snakes did not need any instructions from Sasuke. The first time it came out, it rushed directly towards the two summoning beasts. With a huge body, but with astonishing speed, it directly entangled the two summoning beasts. Such a quick release of ninjutsu is almost an instant thing. But Wying, who was on the sidelines, was stunned. And the next second, the hungry Kido Pain, who appeared directly above his head, stomped down hard on Sasuke. Sasuke stabilized his figure in an instant, stopped directly, grabbed Kido Pain's foot with one hand, and instantly removed the storage scroll from his wrist with the other hand. He took out a bitter pen and stabbed fiercely at Kido's chest. However, at this time, Shira Dopei's laser shot straight at him. Sasuke squinted at Shirado, who summoned his head into a laser cannon, and the attack stopped instantly. Lightning style erupted, entwined directly on Kuwu Shang, and threw it towards the laser. The kunai containing the black lightning style hits the laser directly. The roar suddenly sounded. The human Dao Pain, who had been pierced through the chest before, reappeared. Sasuke took advantage of the momentum and threw the hungry Kido Pain in the air directly towards it. Universal pull. Suddenly, Sasuke's body was pulled by an invisible force, and flew directly towards the distant heavenly Dao Pain. An empty commander barely has any spare time. Directly and instantly took out a series of shuriken. The moment he threw it out of his hand, lightning style directly covered the shuriken. The spinning shuriken directly exploded at an even more astonishing speed, like streaks of black streamers shooting towards Tiando Pain. Shenluo Tianzheng. Tiando Pain's power exploded, and while Sasuke's attack was deflected, it also rushed towards Sasuke's wolf attack. Zuo helped land on the ground, and accelerated to avoid the impact of Shenluo Tianzheng. He turned his head and directly grabbed Shira Dopain, who wanted to take the opportunity to attack. One punch directly smashes the opponent's head. As Shira Dopain was shattered, the two sides stopped fighting slowly. And the 5 shadows who had been watching the battle silently swallowed a mouthful of saliva. In such a fierce fight, there was no gap at all, and just now people even forgot to breathe. Facing the successive waves of attacks from the leader of the Akatsuki organization, Sasuke was able to cope with it. And only relying on body skills, basic lightning style, and kunai throwing skills, not even pupil skills. Sasuke's reaction was jaw-dropping, and 6 Paths Pain's coordinated attack also amazed the 5 cages. With such an exquisite coordinated attack, the enemy does not have much reaction time at all. Even if it was another person, I'm afraid he would have been killed long ago. Only Sasuke can hold on. Slowly retreating from revolving heaven, the group of Pain around Pain seemed to have no plans to continue making moves. The beast said. Pain lightly patted the ground. The summoning technique is activated again. Shira Dao Pain, who was destroyed by Sasuke, was directly summoned to the past. Immediately after Hell Dao Pain appeared, he called out Pluton and threw Shira Dao Pain into it. Then, under Wu Ying's puzzled eyes, a completely intact Shira Dao Pain reappeared. The 6 stood straight in the distance, staring at Sasuke. Obito is speaking to Nagato at this moment. There is no need to continue, Nagato. Sasuke's power is so strong that he hasn't even used any particularly powerful calendars until now. I just use pure body skills, lightning style, and kunai throwing skills to fight you. But even so, it can make Nagato's 6 Paths Pain helpless. This is already a manifestation of strength. And the summoning beasts of the 2 Orochi clan were even more powerful, even suppressing the summoning beasts summoned by the animal way to death. Even kill it directly. Now back behind Sasuke, the green snake and Shinya with huge bodies are entangled, exuding terrifying power, which makes people feel very pressured and arrogant. Nagato looked at Sasuke on the one hand and Obito on the other. 3 tails is in the hands of Sasuke. If we don't defeat Sasuke, we can't get 3 tails. Obito knows this too, but he doesn't think now is the time to deal with Sasuke well. Don't worry. We will definitely be able to get 3 tails, but now is not the time. Isn't it more important to get 9 tails than 3 tails? Hearing this, Nagato thought for a while, then looked at Sasuke. Uchiha Sasuke, our battle. Looks like it's coming to an end. Sasuke shrugged indifferently. It doesn't matter, we will fight sooner or later anyway. Sooner or later they will fight. That's right. Nagato also agrees with this sentence very much, but now, the declaration of war with the 5 major powers has been completed, and he doesn't want to expose too much of his ability to the 5 shadows. And it seems that Sasuke still wants to make trouble for these people, so why should I keep making trouble with Sasuke? It's better to watch the play first, just like Wu Ying watched the play on the sidelines just now. Obito looked at Nagato and nodded to him, then disappeared to the other side and sucked the beast Dao Pain away. And inexplicably accompanied by a burst of strange Uzumaki disappeared animal way. Following his disappearance, the remaining 5 Pain also disappeared directly under the call of the beast Dao Pain. Seeing 6 Paths Pain, who disappeared in a blink of an eye, Wukage and the others frowned even tighter. 6 Paths Pain disappeared, but Gokage couldn't relax immediately, because Sasuke had already turned his head to look at them. Send that guy away, and now we're left. Sasuke looked at Gokage. At this moment, Gaara and Raikage looked at Sasuke most fiercely. One is because Sasuke experienced death once, and the other village was destroyed, and many ninjas were killed at the same time. Both have a strong hatred for Sasuke. Seeing this situation, Tsunade responded. Sasuke. We are not your enemies, 3 tails, we can do nothing, but you must. Tsunade is trying to come up with a compromise plan, such as letting Sasuke be monitored by the 5 powers. Under the condition that the 5 major countries can clearly know whether Three Tails is safe or not, they should give Three Tails freedom and Sasuke freedom as much as possible. Raikage, however, spoke directly. Hokage-sama, I will never accept this guy. Even if he is willing to cooperate with the 5 major powers. Unless he is willing to pay the price for the crimes he committed, the old man will never agree to cooperate with such a person. Hearing this, Tsunade was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect Raikage's hatred for Sasuke to be so strong. And Gaara on the other side also spoke at this time. On this point, I have the same opinion as Master Raikage. It is absolutely impossible for Tsunade to agree, unless he is willing to pay the price. Before she could say it, the two of them directly rejected her proposal. Tsunade is very helpless. Is it really going to turn into an enemy? Seeing the appearance of the two, Sasuke smiled disdainfully. You seem to be too self-righteous. When did I say I want to cooperate with you? Did you forget what I just said? I have declared war on you. The 5 major powers want to trouble me, and I am always welcome. Sasuke looked at the crowd extremely arrogantly, as if he didn't take Raikage seriously. Arrogant boy. Suddenly third Tsuchikage walked out directly. When the old man participated in the Ninja World War, you were not born yet. A mere person wants to challenge the 5 great powers. Do you really think that you alone can stop the ninjas from our 5 major nations? Speaking of Raikage, he burst out directly. Uchiha Sasuke, I admit that your strength is very strong, and your talent is also terrifying like never before in the history of the ninja world. But lightning-style chakra mode broke out. The strongest thunder armor mode opened directly. Fourth Raikage's hair stood on end. At this moment, Fourth Raikage recalled the tragedy when his younger brother, Killer Bee, and Cloud Shinobi Village were destroyed. The anger in the eyes erupted like a real light. Even so, this old man will never bow to you. In an instant, Raikage struck directly. Sasuke's eyes narrowed slightly. In the next second, a black shadow appeared directly in front of Sasuke. Boom buzz. Deafening roars sounded, and shocking waves spread. Continuously spread and sweep towards both sides. And this moment, the smoke swept in, and Sasuke didn't move. However, the film's attack was blocked, and the one who made the shot was someone else. When the smoke slowly dissipated, Raikage looked at the person in front of him. With orange hair, his right arm has become like a monster's hand. However, a majestic chakra wave broke out on the opponent. This guy unexpectedly blocked his fist. And still resist with the body. What a strong force. Isn't this guy one of the 2 who followed Sasuke just now? Unexpectedly. Has this kind of power. It was Shigego who made the shot, and Gokage looked at him in surprise. It goes without saying how powerful Raikage's lightning-style chakra mode is, and Chongo can instantly block the opponent's attack. This kid actually has this kind of power. Suddenly Fourth Raikage noticed that the quicksand was gathering rapidly under his feet. Is this magnet style? Tsunade's cage? In the next second, the violent sand swept across in an instant, and surrounded Chongwu in the blink of an eye. And at this moment, the impact of steam sounded. Beep. The sand was instantly shaken away. Kimimaro and Shigego both took a step backwards at the same time. Kimimaro held the bone blade with one hand and turned to look at Gaara. Sand Shinobi's magnet style. Izuku nodded. Yeah. Kimimaro's shot easily broke Gaara's sand. This made Gaara's face on the side suddenly become extremely gloomy. At that moment just now, I acted very secretly, and I didn't even say that I was discovered. It seemed so easy for the opponent to break his own attack. This means that the strength of the opponent is probably stronger than oneself. A ninja who follows Sasuke has such power. Gokage's complexion was not very good. It's not bad to be able to block the old man's fist, you guy who looks like a monster. Fourth Raikage stared at Chongwu, although he had a very high opinion of Chongwu in his heart. But on the surface, he doesn't care. But it's a pity. You chose the wrong person to follow. This sentence is over. Chongwu's eyes instantly flashed a gloomy cold light. Boom. In an instant, the sage transformation was fully activated, and Chongo's celestial art chakra suddenly seemed to explode. This is only Chongwu who can explode the magic chakra in this way. For Chongo, whose body itself can freely absorb natural energy, it has been a very distressing thing for Shigego to be unable to control this force. However, because Sasuke taught him the practice method of Sage Mode. Let him finally be able to successfully master the natural energy, and tame this violent natural energy very obediently. so that he no longer has to face sudden runaways. An irreparable catastrophe has been caused. For Shigego, Sasuke is his savior. The ordinary sage mode Chongwu can't learn at all, whether it is the sage mode of the three holy lands or what, Chongwu can't learn at all. Sasuke can use the characteristics of sage mode, plus the effect of fusion with the spell seal. A peculiar sage mode developed by myself. Strictly speaking, after summarizing its own special situation, Sasuke developed a special way to open sage mode. The way to open this sage mode is left to Shigego. However, Shigego's situation is almost the same as Sasuke's. So this led to Jongwoo successfully mastering this special sage mode. It should not be called sage mode, but sage transformation. Sage mode needs to make chakra by itself, but the sage transformation of Sasuke and Chongo directly uses the changes of the body, plus some special chakra operation methods. It is a way to use natural energy to be absorbed by the body independently, and it can be controlled as you like. Even Orochimaru couldn't do such a thing, but Sasuke did it. For Shigego, Sasuke is his savior. Raikage said Chongo. Chongo thought it didn't matter, but he shouldn't insult Sasuke. Beep. Chongo of Sage Transformation exploded directly, and the celestial chakra on his body exploded. Even Naruto was startled by the sudden burst of power. What a powerful celestial chakra. Attacking in an instant, Shigego's speed is no less than that of Raikage. A violent punch hit fourth Raikage, and fourth Raikage quickly raised his hands to block. But in the next second, the power that exploded on his fist made fourth Raikage's face change drastically. Well. Awesome power. Immediately afterwards, fourth Raikage flew upside down. Although the movie that landed stabilized his figure, Chongwu just appeared when he raised his head. The greatness of Master Sasuke is beyond your comprehension. Anyone who insults Lord Sasuke will die. Beep. Another punch, but this time Darui, who was the guard of Raikage, made a shot, and the ninja knife blocked Chongo's fist. Although the powerful fist made Darui's forehead veins pop, it can be used as a Raikage guard. How could Raikage be injured? Raikage also hit the blade with a punch, and the powerful force helped Darui, temporarily repelling the heavy prisoner. And at this moment Kimimaro frowned. The two teamed up to deal with Zhongwu, and they thought there was no one on their side? Raise your hand. Dead bone pulse, 10 finger piercing. Boom. In an instant, dense bone bullets flew over. Raikage and Darui heard the sharp sound of perfection, and looked directly towards this side. Seeing the bone bullets that exploded rapidly, the two quickly dodged. However, there are too many and it seems not easy to completely avoid them. Earth style, earth wall. Boom. The earth wall that rose instantly blocked the blow. Onoki patted his hands gently and looked at Kimimaro. Dead bone pulse, the rare blood successor limit. I never thought that he could become a Jinchuriki of a tailed beast. Boy. For the sake of you being the only remaining dead bone pulse blood successor with the ability to limit boundaries, now that we look back, we will not take action against you. At the same time, I believe that the village you used to be, Mizukage-sama, will also be very happy. Happy to accept your return. Hearing this, Terumi Mei's eyes lit up. That's right. Kimimaro, come back. The village is not the same now, it won't happen again. Listening to Terumi Mei's words, Kimimaro smiled disdainfully. The village? It doesn't make any sense to me anymore. If it wasn't for Master Sasuke, I would have died, and now I only hope to follow Master Sasuke forever. I didn't expect Kimimaro to be so loyal to Sasuke, which made Onoki a bit difficult. It is obvious that Kimimaro and Shigego are both very strong, with a proper cage level. It doesn't matter if one person is strong, even his subordinates. Uchiha Sasuke is too lucky. It made Onoki a little envious. Why can't Iwagakure be like Sasuke, with a few more cage-level ninjas around him? Otherwise, there is no need for his third generation to support it. Kimimaro, drop. They leave it to you. Suddenly Sasuke's voice sounded. The two nodded at the same time, and Sasuke looked at Naruto in the crowd. Naruto. Come here today, another purpose of mine is you. The last battle was forced to end in the middle of the battle. Today. With Kimimaro and Shigego helping us to block the irrelevant people, the battle between us will no longer be disturbed by anyone. Hearing this, Naruto was a little surprised, but he didn't expect Sasuke to come to him. Kurama. Naruto, be careful. This guy is here for you. The purpose is definitely not simple. I'm afraid it's not as simple as just wanting to fight you. Naruto nodded. We understand, but I also want to see if I can defeat Sasuke here. Naruto? Onogi looked in Naruto's direction. Hokage, Naruto. Could it be your Konoha's Jinchuriki? Terumi Mei was also taken aback for a moment. Jinchuriki? Hokage actually brought Jinchuriki out? Bringing Jinchuriki to this occasion, what is Hokage's idea? Tsunade. It's too dangerous to keep Naruto in the village. I can't guarantee that the Akatsuki organization will attack the village at this time, so I have to bring Naruto out. At least we have 5 cages here. This argument is very reasonable, but the person who is now thinking about 9 tails is Uchiha Sasuke. Naruto walked towards Sasuke. At this time, Itachi glanced at Sasuke, and the eyes of the two met in the air. In an instant, Sasuke's powerful pupil power exploded directly. Itachi involuntarily took 2 steps back, looking at Sasuke in shock. How long has it been since? Hitomi is so strong, Sasuke. What's going on with your Rinnegan? Although now he has a lot of questions to ask. But this is not a suitable occasion. Hey! Konoha's 9 tails Jinchuriki, what are you doing? Our 5 cages will not watch Uchiha Sasuke do something to you, come back to me. Onoki is very anxious now. Konoha's 9 tails Jinchuriki seems to want to go one-on-one with Sasuke. Now 9 tails is the last hole card in the hands of the 5 major powers. If it is obtained by Sasuke, then the 5 major countries will be quite passive no matter they face the Akatsuki organization or Uchiha Sasuke's. Naruto's security concerns are particularly important. However, Naruto took off his mask, turned his head and glanced at Onogi. I am also Konoha's ninja, not just 9 tails Jinchuriki. Saying that, Naruto jumped out directly, but Shigego and Kimimaro did not stop Naruto. Tsunade sighed softly, she also knows Naruto's character, and it's hard to change what has been decided. Plus it was Sasuke. There has always been an obsession with Sasuke Naruto. Tsunade can understand the bond between the two, so he doesn't intend to stop it. But other moviegoers won't sit idly by. Gaara raised his hand and rolled up a stream of sand, chasing Naruto directly. Naruto. Give me back. However, Gaara's sand character was kicked to pieces by Kimimaro, who suddenly kicked out the next second. Beep. With the exploding sand, Kimimaro looked at Gaara indifferently. Sasuke-sama's battle, you better not get in the way. Otherwise I will let you die again. If he dies again, no one will save him this time. Mentioning this matter, Gaara's anger rushed up immediately. Asshole, if it wasn't for him, Grandma Chio wouldn't have died. This is also the reverse scale that Gaara hides in her heart and absolutely does not allow anyone to touch it. Boom. Suddenly, the surrounding sand rolled up. An astonishing sand wave formed directly around Kimimaro, wrapping towards Kimimaro rapidly. Facing Gaara's sand, however, Kimimaro was in no hurry. The bone spurs on his body erupted. The whole person instantly entered a fighting state. Dance of Tang Song. With the high-speed rotation of the body, the sand that rolled around was instantly broken. Little devil. The old man is here to help you. Third Tsuchikage weighed Onogi 2 days ago and clapped his hands together. There was an explosion of light from the dust escape, and harsh noises sounded. In an instant, a white light burst out. And at this moment, Chongwu looked at the third Tsuchikage in the distance, and raised his hand to gather the celestial chakra energy to form a chakra cannon. Bombarded directly in the direction of Onoki. Beep. The beam of light broke through the sky in an instant. Onoki's eyelids trembled slightly, and the strong chakra fluctuations exuded a dangerous aura. What a weird attack method. There was no way for Dust Dawn to burst out suddenly, directly attacking the heavy chakra cannon. The 2 rays of light collided in the air, followed by an explosion from a distance. In an instant, the roar resounded through the sky and the earth. It was able to block the old man's dust escape. Black Earth marveled. Onoki was also surprised, and then turned to look at Hokage and Mizukage. Aren't you two doing it yet? Let these 2 guys block us 5 cages. 9 tails Jinchuriki is facing Uchiha Sasuke. Boom. The red titan suddenly rose from the ground, and the flame-like blade in its hand pierced through the ground in an instant. Stabbed directly in Kimimaro's direction, but in the next second, the strong bone cross rose from the ground. A bone forest was directly formed to block the attack, and a dazzling red light emerged from Kimimaro's body. Tail Beast's chakra bursts. 3 tails flutter behind Kimimaro. Kimimaro looked up at the shooter. Mr. Uchiha Itachi, as Sasuke-sama's big brother, do you want to join in? Hearing that Itachi smiled softly, the me now is also Konoha's ninja. Clear. Kimimaro nodded slightly. Then the eyes narrowed slightly. Then offend. Dead bone pulse, dance of the early fern. Suddenly, cracks began to appear on the ground, spreading and spreading towards Wu Ying's position in an instant, almost in a blink of an eye. It will completely cover the 5 shadows. Immediately afterwards, huge bone spurs instantly rose from the ground. At this moment, Wukage and Wukage's guards all jumped up to avoid it. Such a large-scale attack is really surprising. This is the power of Dead Bone Pulse. Bai quickly made ice cubes to freeze these bones, and at the same time a huge icicle rose up, supporting her, Terumi Mei, and Chojuro to avoid the large-scale attack. Terumi Mei's eyes were full of regret as she looked at the bone forest that had formed in the blink of an eye below. Kirigakure couldn't grasp such a powerful blood continuation limit boundary, such a powerful ninja. Even let him wander out of the village and become Kirigakure's enemy. What a pity. With the blocking of the bone forest, Sasuke doesn't have to worry about Gokage or Gokage's guards making trouble for the time being. Can concentrate on dealing with Uzumaki Naruto in front of you. Come to Naruto in front of Sasuke and look at Sasuke. Konoha. Always has your place, Sasuke. Hearing this, Sasuke smiled, but he didn't expect Naruto to say this in the first sentence. I won't go back to Konoha because it's pointless. Naruto also sighed. He didn't understand why Sasuke didn't want to go back to Konoha. Does the village really disgust him so much? But if you say disgust, Sasuke clearly has the power to destroy Konoha, but he has never done so. In Sasuke's heart, what kind of village is it? Is it optional? Do you even say you don't care? If that is the case, then Naruto really feels helpless. Slowly raised his head to look at the current Sasuke. We all grew up. The current Sasuke is not what it used to be, and Naruto is no different. The awakening of Ashura Chakra has accelerated Naruto's development speed a lot. The two of them now look about 15 or 16 years old. It doesn't look like a kid anymore, but a teenager. Sasuke nodded, and the black thunder burst out from his body. Gathering towards the hands, the voice of the field bird sounded again. The same Rasengan in Naruto's hands also appeared quickly. Chidori versus Rasengan. For a moment, Naruto seemed to think of the Chunin exam, the battle outside Konoha village, and the battle on the day Jiraiya died. This time, no matter what, you must not lose.